Good evening, folks. Welcome back to another Monday night live stream. Hope everybody is well. Hope you all had a fantastic weekend. Before I get on too far, let me know if this is streaming okay, folks, because it was working fine, and now, I think we should be okay now. It came up saying it had a poor connection, but yeah, it looks like it's gone green again now. So I assume everything is fine. So let me know how everybody is. Let me know what you've been up to. How's your weekend been? Let me know what you've been doing anyway. So let's have a quick look in the chat now and see who we had. Christopher Warden, nice and early. Hello to you, fella. Carl Denham saying, here's to 4 more years. You have my vote. Yeah, of course, if you haven't seen the title today, exactly to the day, the 2nd of November, is exactly 4 years since I uploaded my first ever video. Almost 400 videos ago. So, yes. So I thought tonight we'll have a little bit of a chat about kind of what's happened over the last 4 years. We'll chat about some of the good times, some of the bad times, all that kind of stuff. Chat about maybe what's coming up in the future. We'll have a bit of an old-fashioned kind of community chat and ramble and stuff. But for the topic I'm going to clip out for tomorrow night as well, I'm going to kind of give you my 5 kind of tips about what I've learned after 4 years on YouTube. And if you've got a podcast or a YouTube channel or even an Instagram account or you're looking to try maybe even start something up, is there anything I can share with you that I've learned over those 4 years that will maybe kind of help set you down the right path? Stuff I wish people had told me, kind of thing. So yes, that's what we'll be talking about tonight. Let me briefly just check in there. Everybody's saying, yeah, all good. I don't know what it was. Instantly, as I pressed start a stream, the little green light that tells me that the stream's good quality went yellow and said poor, and it was like, fantastic, just what I need. Marcus, good afternoon to you, Marcus. How are you doing? I also, I don't know if it's just shown up there, but somebody, where was it? Marcus, I don't know if it's the same Marcus. Marcus Schneider's just pledged as well on Patreon. For some reason, it hasn't come up on the screen yet. So if it doesn't come up, thank you very much for that, Marcus. Mark Wright says, hope everyone is okay. He's back on furlough from Thursday. No doubt we'll get on to kind of what the rest of the month's got to hold and stuff, mate, at some point. Lord Maiden, hello to you. Lord Maiden says that picture before and after leaving a bad job. Yes. I know it was funny. I went back through my old videos today to get that snap from one of my first videos. And it's kind of funny how things have come around, how things have changed. Ortega, hello. He's just saying congrats on the 4 years and he'll be here on the rerun. Thank you very much, mate. Chris is saying let's get the celebration started. Tony's saying evening and congrats. I'm celebrating tonight with a cup of tea. It's what is it? It's ginger and honey, I think it is. It's very tasty anyway. Richard's saying good evening as well. He's just finished watching Mikey over on Hellstorm Gaming and now this. Hashtag spoiled. There you go. Good evening, good morning, VG, I should say as well. Time to build some wood elves. Wood elves, mate. There's a bit of a blast from the past. Christian, hello, mate. How are you doing, mate? James on, say looking forward to getting some hobby in after work tonight. Bruce is in as well. Hello to you, Bruce. VG says he's been watching the Armada videos coming out from Mantic and he's still none the wiser on a couple of things. We'll get to that later on, mate. Remind me on. Because I must admit, it did kind of cross my mind when I've been watching them as well. Tony saying, howdy doody. David Mackay, hello to you as well. VJ saying he's excited the Christmas mini swaps kicked off. Hello to you as well, Mark. It says, it looks like Andy's better looking twin is back. I think it's just... I think I've probably lost a little bit of weight. I probably gained some weight in those 4 years and lost a little bit of weight as well. So I'm probably slightly thinner than I was when I started. Actually, I'm not really sure if I was. And what else? I think I'm just a bit more relaxed now. Maybe that's what it was. Joachim saying, good evening, folks. 4 years, time flies. Yeah, to be honest, I mean, there's not much I can control when it comes to YouTube other than just keep making videos and stick at it, really. I can't control people watching it. I can't control people subscribing or any of that stuff. All I can do is kind of commit to making videos and keeping going. And 4 years is like... There's a lot of channels kind of just die away after a couple of years at best, really. Some die away after 2 or 3 videos. So 4 years is a bit of achievement, even just for me, kind of like still having that energy and passion to want to keep doing it now. So yes, great. John says, 4 years ago, we moved up to the northeast. Where were you 4 years ago? Yeah, so what? How's anybody else's life changed in the last 4 years? I've gone from uploading my first video 4 years to the day to now, here I am doing this full time. This is my job now. I never would have dreamed back then this was where I'd end up. Stuart Mercury is in as well, saying congrats on the 4 years. Thank you very much. Thank you as well to Paul McElroy. Nice to see you, mate. Carl Denham says, he's the 4 more. You have my vote. Thank you very much, mate. Do you think I should run for president? Is that what it is? Pomsey saying hello as well. Hello, Tim Kelly. Says more Death Guards on the table tonight for him as well. Hello to Ian. Hello, Scott Longworth. Hello, Peter Nicholas. Marcus saying happy birthday. It is actually my birthday this month, mate, but that's later in the month. This is my channel anniversary today. Hello to Ed as well. Hello to Carla. Hello, Glenn Griffin. Hello, Krabby. Hello to Coxie as well. Everybody's coming into the stream as it starts there as well. Where were we up to there? Scott saying, congratulations and long may you continue with your dream. Thank you very much, mate. That means a lot. Hello to Frantic as well. Blizzards is in as well. This is work in pain management today. I hope you're okay, mate. Glenn says, congrats on 4 years. It's been great as one of your viewers to see how your channel has grown over years. Looking forward to getting to 10k subs. I'm pretty close, mate. I'm at like 9,100 and something now. I think with a real with a good push in volume of videos and hitting some kind of relatively big topics, there's a bit of an outside chance I could get 10,000 subscribers by the end of the year if I really kind of knuckle down. I did about 500 subscribers last month, so I've got all of November and all of December. So it's in my hands really to kind of just put the hard work in. So let's see how it goes. Carla says, started building Warcry, first miniature I've ever built, completed all the terrain and now building the beasts. Hoping to continue that tonight. I started with my Warcry Catacomb stuff. I've got some bits of books lying around as well. I'm sure we'll touch on bits and pieces as the night goes on. Tim saying, hope someone else this week just get 4 more years. Hello to Mike G as well. Hello to you, mate. Hello to Busey. BlackJack polo shirts, are they on the merch store? So, mate, as you may have listened on last Wednesday's painting stream, I said that somebody in our community owns basically their business is making like sort of schoolwear and workwear and stuff, and they got in touch with me and said, like, would you consider kind of switching out your merch and we'll work on something together. So I said, let's work on it, let's have a chat about it. So he sent me some samples back end of last week. Was it back end of last week? I forget when it was, might have been Friday I got them. And this is one of them, this polo shirt. This is all embroidered as well. These are not like kind of ironed on, they're not printed on, they're not screen printed. This is all embroidered. They're absolutely fantastic quality. I'm blown away with the quality of them. He's also done a really cool hoodie as well, a black hoodie with the BlackJack badge on and with BlackJack Legacy in white writing down the sleeve, which I'm pretty happy with. I'll get some pictures of that up as well. And also he sent me some a BlackJack face mask as well. Obviously everyone's got to wear masks now as well, so BlackJack branded face mask. So I want to kind of try them out. I want to wear them. I want to put them through the wash. I want to see what the quality's like. But so far, I'm absolutely blown away. The quality of them is really nice, and pricing wise, I think you'll be impressed with the prices of them. So it's going to take me a little while. Admin is not my strong point, as I'm sure most of you know. My passion is kind of tabletop stuff and making videos. When it comes to the admin side and all the business side of things, that stuff I've really got to push myself to do. So I have to sort all that side of stuff out. But yes, these could be coming very soon. Hopefully, we might even sneak them in, like sort of ready, so you can get some for Christmas if you want them, mate. Marcus just saying, just joined your Patreon. Thank you very much, Marcus. I hope. I don't know if that just doesn't show up because it was kind of before the stream started. Maybe if I go off the screen and come back at some point, it might refresh. So hopefully that does, mate. Tony says, sound is good and looking hot. Thank you, mate. Jeff Higdon, hello to you, mate. Hello to Kevin as well. He says, good morning from Japan. First time to catch your live stream and congrats on 4 years. Is it konnichiwa? Is that right? Hello to you, Kevin, mate. I hope you're well. Rui saying, congrats for an amazing 4 years. It has been amazing, mate. It's been a roller coaster. But I kind of believe where it's kind of ended up so far. Peter says, I think it's funny that you look 4 years younger in the second pick. I think, to be honest, mate, in that first pick, Jackson, my son, was probably about 4 weeks old. So I probably wasn't sleeping very much at that point. I was obviously very tired. I was stressed with work. And here I am 4 years later, probably a bit more sleep, refreshed, drinking lemon and ginger tea as well instead of probably copious amounts of wine and beer back then. So it's probably just a bit more healthy, mate. Dave's saying lemon and ginger tea is awesome. This is awesome, actually, mate. It's the pucker stuff. Really tasty. Where are we up to? Busey says, it's about time you got back on the beers. Treat yourself once in a while. I actually had a few beers last night, mate, which is why I'm on the lemon and ginger tea tonight. My throat was a bit sore, and I think it was more to do with like, you know, when you haven't drank in a while and you kind of overdo it a little bit, and you get that kind of alcohol burn on your throat. I was drinking rum last night, to be fair, so that's probably why. Who else we got in as well? Regis got Blitzball, mate. There you go. That's why. Hello to Steve Evans. Hello, mate. How are you doing? James Potter. Hello to you as well. Redwell. Good morning. Good morning. Good afternoon. Good day. Whatever it is. Regis saying, should you run for president when you couldn't do a worse job? I don't think I'd want that, mate. If I'm honest. Lord Maiden says, within 4 years, I went from struggling with an unforgiving job to the death of a granddad to enjoying a good job. Life will throw these things at you, mate, and unfortunately, some nasty things will happen in your life. But it's somebody once told me that basically things always get better in the end, and if they're not getting better yet, it's because you haven't reached the end. So it's kind of one way. It's a positive spin to look at it. Peter Stockdale, hello to you, mate. Low Maiden says 9,130 subs. Yeah, I think YouTube rounds them up in increments of 10 now. So I think it's nearer the 40 bit. But yeah, it's within touching distance, mate. I would love to hit 10,000 this year. That would be a nice little that would cap off what's been a pretty shitty year in one aspect, but actually it has been a really exciting year in another aspect. Tasty Brain Drain, hello to you, mate, as well. Saying congrats too. Real Tyrium, love the channel, just found it great to have Warcry stuff and hangouts. Thank you very much, mate. Speaking of Warcry, so I did pick up Catacombs at the weekend. All of the terrain is all built there and primed. I did some priming on that today. I started a little bit yesterday, got a bit more done today. The minis are built. I also picked up this as well. I don't know if anybody else picked it up. So this is the Warcry Catacombs Blood of the Everchosen novel. And I didn't know when I bought it. It came with this sticker on the front. James Arm donated through Super Chat. Thank you very much. It says, congrats on 4 years. Let me read it because I can't see what it says. It says, congrats on 4 years, Andy. Glad to have been part of the crew for the last year since your Warcry video. Thank you very much, mate. Much appreciated. Yes, so it didn't. I don't remember seeing this when it was advertised, the book, but it says Warcry Challenge Battle Card inside. And this is a hardback book, really nice quality. But in the back of the book, there is an envelope attached in the back. And inside the envelope, there is a special battle plan called Blood of the Everchosen, which is kind of sort of set around the novel itself. So I thought that was a nice little addition. Once I've read the book, I'll give you a bit of an overview on it. But yeah, I'm looking forward to getting stuck into that one. Yeah, Steve is saying Friday. Yeah, when I said somebody in the community, it's Steve there. Steve Evans is the lad that's been sending me these sample stuff. The quality is fantastic, mate. I'm really, really pleased with them. William says, sounds like good tournament shirt. They're absolutely spot on, mate. Like, I don't want to go on too much about the merch stuff, but yeah, like just really, really nice quality. It's not like kind of like thin, cheap material or anything like that. Josh Price, hello to you, mate. Carl Denham says, BlackJack for president. Derek saying, happy 4th anniversary. Jeff says, you haven't aged a bit. Yeah, I think that's what happens when you've got no hair. So it's not like my hairline's receding anymore. That's probably what it is, mate. Joachim says, just went 25 years back, cleaning the storage in the house and found old letters from friends and girlfriends, the good old days before mobile phones, when a call abroad was very expensive. I was having this conversation with my sons the other day, saying about back when I first got a mobile phone, and it was 35p per text. And it was, I think it was 45 pence per minute to make a call as well. It was super expensive. None of this kind of like unlimited calls and texts like we get these days. Not that I actually make any calls or send any texts, to be fair now. Just Kev says, hey Andy, hey gang, hope you're all well and happy 4th birthday. Thank you, mate. Scott says, can't believe you got me to purchase God tier. When I do my setup tour, the reason I haven't done it yet, by the way, folks, just for those interested, is because there's a few little fine-tuned things that I want to get finished to kind of like to show off in the video. But when I do it, you'll see my big pile of God tier stuff. Kieran, hello to you. Says 4-year birthday dance. Just asking. The dances don't come out for anything, mate. The next dance is a 10,000 subs, definitely. Busey saying another 4 years. Yes. Tasty Brinter says, sadly, the first day of work after the time change is always crazy, though not as crazy today as it was last week. So it looks like another Monday of listening and no chatting. Well, I hope you're well, mate, and no doubt we'll catch up soon. Glenn saying some of the artwork in the new Catacombs book is excellent. It is really nice, mate, to be fair. What I would say, and I was slightly disappointed, is, I mean, there's 65 pages in this Catacombs book. There's a big chunk of it is background stuff. So if you like background, there is essentially the first 23 pages is some nice pictures and a little bit of background and stuff. And the main sort of the guts of this is probably about 10 pages of it or something like that. But that said, the rules are really, really good, and I'm looking forward to playing those first games. That's why I'm kind of concentrating on getting those built up. My wife said she would play this one with me. She's not a big fan of kind of miniatures games with like free movement, but she did say she would play this one with me because it's a bit more simple. Tizzy Brinjan saying, we want to say hello and congrats. Thank you, mate. That's hugely appreciated. Simon Dave says, congrats on the 4 years. Thank you, mate. Marcus is saying, don't forget to like. That would be much appreciated, folks. A nice like doesn't go amiss. Chris is saying, rum, whiskey, scotch or bourbon. I was drinking, what were they called? I think it was cocktails called Dark and Cloudies, I think they were called, which was dark rum, which I think was cracking actually, with ginger beer and lime. It was really nice. The real term says, I got the book on Audible and it's pretty cool. I didn't know it was on Audible, mate. I might well use my free month's credit with that. If anybody doesn't have Audible already, there's a link down in the description of this video. If you click on that link, you can get a month's free Audible. If you want to use that to get the Warcry book, you can do. Just cancel it. Just literally get it, download the book, cancel it. You'll get the book for free. I'll make a small commission for kind of sending you to take up a free account. I personally pay every month for Audible. I find it really useful. If you've never used it before, it's worth trying to check it out as well. Marcus is saying, okay, now I want to make missions that come with the books. Yeah, I've never seen that before, mate. Carla says, I've had bad experiences trying to read Magic the Gathering books and D&D books. Most of them are pretty bad. Are the Warhammer novels any better? The Warhammer novels are fantastic in general. I tend not to buy a lot of the Black Library stuff, but I did buy the original Warcry compendium book, I think, or whatever it was called, which was basically I think it was either 4 or 6 short stories with the different. I think it was 4 short stories of the 4 different war bands from the first release, and I really liked it, which is why I decided to buy this one as well. Yeah, Christian, Dark and Stormy. That is what it was, mate. Yes. Lord Maiden says, I'm still waiting for my Catacombs to come. I hope to get it by Saturday. I bought mine through Goblin Gaming, and I got the notice to say it shipped on Friday, and it arrived Saturday about 10:30, 11 o'clock. So yeah, I was really pleased with the service from them. I wouldn't have got it that much earlier if I actually got up and kind of went and collected it myself, to be fair. Ed says, did anyone get a copy of the Catacombs book that isn't missing the names list except for the Flame Boys? No, mate, I see that there's a one on the rear page here, which was for the Canine Shadow Stalkers. I don't think there is one, is there, for the other fellas randomly. It's like they decided to cut a couple of pages out and cut the wrong ones, and it's weird that that's on the back cover unusually. Just Kev says, can I ask a silly question? Is Catacombs different to normal Warcry, like a dungeon crawler type thing? I thought it was just a different map to play Warcry on. So, mate, don't think of it like a dungeon crawler. It's nothing like a dungeon crawler. It is the normal Warcry rules, but because it's played in the dungeons kind of underneath, there are some kind of specific additional bits that add flavour. So things like being able to open levers to open doors and to set off traps and to push people into the lava. You can't fly because obviously you're in a dungeon. So like, for example, Corvus Cabal can do like wall runs. I think Nighthaunt can float through walls and stuff. It just adds an extra way to play it. It adds a bit of flavour. It adds a bit of fun. I'll be honest. I know people were a bit down on the pricing and stuff like that, but I actually think it's pretty decent. I mean, like, there's a lot of terrain that is. I know it doesn't look as much as the original box set, and I know it's not. But actually, looking there at all the stuff I've primed up there, there's still quite a lot of stuff in there. Marcus is saying, only 40k book I've read is the Caiaphas Cain collection of Warhammer Fantasy. I've not read any of the Warhammer Fantasy stuff, I'll be perfectly honest, but I have read some of the... I have read... Oh, let me just... Speaking of all, it's like it knew. I've just saw something come up out of my bank, and I thought I haven't bought anything. Why is my bank account? It's just my $7.99 for Audible's just been taken out of my bank. Yeah, Carlos, I have to get the novels as well. Yes. Warwick, hello to you. He says, I remember the Malice Darkblade novels fondly. Dude solved everything he came up against with violence. Yeah, I think that's Warhammer in general, mate, isn't it? Scott said he bought the 2 Space Wolf books following Ragnar Blackmane. It was 6 books in 2 books. Krabby just gave me those ones to read as well. I've got those on my list of stuff to pick up at some point. Bloggy's in as well. Hello to you, mate. Skullmunch is in as well. It says Flim Boys background tables are in the core book. They were already... that's why, mate. You are correct. They were already in the core book. It's been that long since I've read the core book. Thank you for clarifying. Ed says, if you know Kill Team, it's Warcry Arena, but without the existentialist doors. It's not really that, to be fair, mate. It's not like the rules have changed. I find, I haven't played it, as I said, but reading through the rules, it's another way to play it. I think it's quite thematic, and I actually quite like the sound of it. Scott said he needs a new face mask. Kev says 40k book wise, highly recommend the great work. Belisarius Call novel. I've been reading a bit about Belisarius Call, obviously with the whole AdMech and stuff like that. And yeah, it sounds quite interesting. So, folks, I'm going to have a quick drink, and then what we'll do is, if I flick across to this screen and set my record button away, I'm going to quickly spend a little bit of time just talking about kind of the topic, if you like, the thing that I'm going to clip out for tomorrow's video. So if anybody is interested in starting a YouTube channel and you've got any questions tonight, if you want to start a podcast, if you want to do something creative online, I'm not saying I've got the answers for you, but I'm happy to take any questions tonight through the stream, and also sort of just to try and advise you really. Maybe if you can cut a few corners, it might take you 2 years to get where I got in 4 years kind of thing. You might be able to kind of cut a few corners, because I didn't really know anybody to ask them back then, really. So, hey folks, what I'm going to talk about tonight then is kind of, I've been on YouTube for 4 years now. Today's my 4-year anniversary. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you 5 sort of bits of advice, or 5 things that I've learned that I would pass on to you if you're starting a YouTube channel. Little bits of kind of nuggets of information I wish somebody had kind of shared with me. And the first one is that equipment doesn't matter except until it does. And what I mean by that is, I think a lot of people maybe see kind of the quality of my stream and the quality of my videos. They might look at sort of huge big YouTube channels. They might look at the channels that do back reports with kind of like 10 different cameras dotted about and stuff. And they might think one of 2 things. They might think, I'm just not even going to start it. I can't afford it. I can't afford to buy all that stuff. Or they might think, I need to buy all of that stuff to start. And that's just not the case. The equipment does not matter as much as you think. When I first started my YouTube channel, I literally recorded my first couple of videos. I think I recorded the first one on my phone. I think I recorded the second one on a GoPro that I had. And essentially, I could have probably stuck with those things for a long, long time. But I didn't. I kind of saw the kind of the story eyes once I got a few subscribers and thought I needed new cameras and all sorts of stuff. And I bought a lot of equipment that probably wasn't needed. And what happens is over a period of time, over a number of years, you get to a point actually where you know, in order to improve things, you've reached the limits of the equipment you've got. That's the point in time when you should start to think about other equipment. If you've got a mobile phone with a camera on it these days, like if I go back 4 years ago, the camera wasn't fantastic on my mobile phone. The camera on my phone now is excellent. If you've got like a relatively recent phone that you've had in the last year or two, the quality of the video camera for that will be really good. I would say potentially maybe buy like a lapel mic or something that would plug into your phone, because I think sound quality is actually sometimes much more important than visual quality. If your camera isn't great, people will still watch it, but if your sound is awful, people just won't watch or listen. So my point is basically, don't go out and buy loads of cameras. Don't go out and buy expensive gear and fancy lights and all that kind of stuff. The biggest improvement you can get is learning to use the equipment you've got the best you can. And your first videos will probably be awful, and you will subsequently get better. And no amount of money you spend on equipment will make those videos any better because you're still learning what to do. So yeah, the first piece of advice I would give you is don't go out and spend a fortune. Literally, use what you've got until you can't use that anymore, really. The second thing I would give a bit of advice is stay true to your passion. When you first start out, if you're doing something creative, be that you want to have a YouTube channel where you're painting miniatures and showing off what you do, you might want to have a podcast about your favorite game or whatever that is. Whatever your kind of creative pursuit that you're going to do is, you're obviously passionate about something that you want to kind of share with the communities online, you want to share with the world. And it's that passion that people will want to subscribe to. It's that passion that people will want to watch. If you're just doing something purely just to get clicks on a video because you know a certain topic will generate more views, for example, your lack of authenticity or your lack of passion or your lack of interest or your lack of knowledge will shine through, and basically it's not going to do you any favors in the long run. If you go chasing kind of views on topics that you're not that interested in, you will eventually get bored. You'll get sick of it. If you start just chasing kind of like controversial topics just to get views, you will get views, but you'll feel drained by surrounding yourself with negativity. Whatever the reason is that you want to start, just stick with it. Even if it's not the most successful, make sure it's something that you're passionate about. I've stuck with my passion from day one, and I potentially could have grown faster if I talked about more popular games, if I talked about sort of more controversial subjects. But I still absolutely love doing this, and now it's my job. I absolutely I get up every day and love making content. If I was doing it for the views, I think I'd have probably given up a long time ago. So yes, stick with your passion, stick with what your vision is, and just really give everything to that and steer the path. Really, it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. You can't analyze everything on each video. You have to kind of set a target, go for that target, and just keep going. So yeah, stick with your passion. The next one I would say is don't overthink things. Just do it. Make your video, make your podcast, sort of do your tutorial, whatever it is. Just do whatever it is, and then move on. Don't obsess over it. Don't worry about it. Some of the most successful videos that I've done have come from ideas that I thought weren't good enough. And just because I'm overthinking it, thinking I need to get these it needs to be a really popular topic. It needs to be something that people want to watch. Sometimes the simplest ideas are the most popular. The video I made about doing the Warcry terrain seemed like a stupid idea to me at the time. When I was in the middle of filming, I can vividly remember it now. I was in the middle of filming it, and I actually stopped at one point. I thought, surely everybody, people will know this kind of stuff. They don't need me to kind of show them how to build terrain. If I know how to do it, I'm sure people can do it themselves as well. And I thought, you know what it is? I'm halfway through doing this. I might as well finish it now. And what that video taught me was, one, it's done 60,000 views now or something. But what it taught me is that if you can think of something that you find useful or you find helpful, other people out there will also find it useful or will find it helpful. And if you can save them a little bit of time, if you can help people out, people will watch that kind of stuff. It's the kind of video people will share with their friends. They'll share it with their groups. So don't overthink stuff. Don't think everything has to be a masterpiece. Not everything needs to be some kind of sort of Sundance Film Festival documentary. Sometimes the simplest ideas are the ones that are the most successful. So yeah, don't overthink it. Just literally do it, move on and do the next one. If you obsess over one individual video, you'll end up never making videos enough. And one thing that you have to do making videos or making podcasts or painting, kind of commission painting, whatever it is, you need to just keep going. You need to keep momentum going, and you need to keep going. So yeah, don't overthink it. Just do it and move on. The next one I would say is, and this is something I've definitely had to deal with a bit more over the last, I would say the last year to 18 months as the channel's popularity started to pick up a little bit. And it's don't take things personally. If you talk about your viewpoint if you kind of put yourself out there and say what you believe in, if you put something out there and say, here's a tutorial on how to paint something, or here's a piece of terrain that I've built, people will criticize it. That's just life. We live in an age now where whatever you put out there, somebody will disagree with it. Somebody will think it's wrong. And you have to realize that these people don't know you personally. They're not really having a dig at you. I mean, some people might, and if they're trolling you for like personal things, like the way you sound, the way you look, that kind of thing, just block and just don't even listen to them people. But if they're criticizing your painting style, if they're criticizing your content, if they're criticizing your ideas or your discussions, that's just because they don't agree. They just have a different viewpoint, and you have to really you've got to really take it down and remember that we're all different. We all have different viewpoints, and don't take it personally. They don't know you to really have that kind of criticism of you. They are just having an opinion on something you've said. And as my videos get more views, and as the live streams get more popular and that kind of stuff, I had to basically get to that point where you just say, look, don't take it personally. Just do your stuff. Do it and move on, because you could get 1,000 likes on a video, or 1,000 really nice comments, and you'll say thank you very much to all of them, and it's nice to hear. But it's that one negative comment that kind of like gets you between the ribs, and you can kind of overanalyze it and stuff, and think, well, what did I do wrong, and what do they mean by that? A lot of stuff gets lost in text. And just because you know the way you mean something doesn't mean the other person takes it the same way. So you kind of have to get broad shoulders. You got to get thick skin. But just remember, don't take it personally. It's not aimed at you personally. It's just different points of view, and it's really difficult to have a discussion when it's just kind of text backwards and forwards, or like Facebook is awful for that kind of stuff. Because things just get taken out of context when text is involved. So yeah, don't take things personally. And the last thing, the fifth thing I want to do, and I think is the most important of anything, any piece of advice I could give you, is care. You have to care about what you're doing. If you don't care, why are you doing it? It's a hobby first and foremost. Like I've done this for 4 years now, and I started doing it because I was really interested in doing it. And I kept doing it because I cared about it. I cared about the people that watch the videos. The biggest part for me is building a community around this whole thing. The videos are almost just a vehicle to keep the community going, to keep topics coming, to keep people motivated, to bring in new people, to encourage beginners, to encourage people that have maybe had some time away from the hobby. It's always been about the community side of things for me, and I've really enjoyed that aspect of it. And if I didn't really care about the community, that would be really transparent. I would come across as very kind of like a bit two-faced, and it would show that I just didn't care, and I was just doing this for the clicks or whatever it was. So I think the most important thing is you need to care. If you don't care about what you're doing, kind of reevaluate it and maybe do something else, because you do need to care. You do need to care. So those are kind of 5 tips that I would give you. If anybody has anything else, or you have any questions, please pop them down in the comments. Thank you to every single person who has ever watched, has ever kind of watched one of my videos, has ever liked or disliked one of my videos, has ever commented, has ever donated on a live stream, has ever bought a t-shirt. All of my Patreons, it's you lot that's kind of kept me going for 4 years and got me to this point. It's you lot that's enabled me to leave a job that sucked the soul out of my life and be able to do this full time and spend time with my family, and really look towards a much brighter future. So thank you very much to every single one of you, and I'll see you all in the next video. Except you lot in the live stream, that was just for tomorrow's clips bit. Frozen Andy, do you know what it is, folks? I think it was I did see it's coming at that it's that it's a little bit I think for some reason it's saying that the stream's not great. It's been great for 4 years. I don't know why it would suddenly start playing up tonight. It's bloody typical. Right, I'm going to go back and I'm going to have a quick look through some of these comments now, because I know there's plenty of folks out there who we all kind of we all watch each other's stuff and that, so I know plenty of you have stuff as well. Christians, you're sharing the link there for the Patreon. Thank you very much, mate. Says, help support the channel for at least another 4 years of content from as little as $2 per month. Yeah, hopefully, the fact that I've been doing this for 4 years kind of gives you some confidence. I'm not going anywhere. Like, I'm going to be around for a while. So if you do want to support me in what I do, at least you know there's some long-term plans in there. Steve says, keep an eye on the Kindle store. They have Warhammer 40k books on sale every month. Space Wolf Omnibus is only $1.99 this month. What I would also say is keep an eye out on Humble Bundle. If you check it online, it's like a charity thing. They quite often have 40k books on there where you pay like sort of £7 and you get like 10 or 12 books and stuff. It's worth checking those kind of things out. Heatherwell says, salute Andy, just doing some hobby work away from the screen and just listening, but 2 seconds just to say a snappy salute and hope all is good. Thank you, mate. Andrew Fairbanks, good evening to you, mate. Ed saying, to be clear, loves her, Arena, certainly not knocking Catacombs, which looks and feels excellent. I think a lot of people didn't really like Arena, but I think Arena felt very different to Kill Team, I think. But where I honestly see Catacombs as just as an extension, as another way to play, as opposed to, I think it was the way Kill Team Arena was almost sold as, this is the competitive player. Like Catacombs hasn't done that so much. Christopher just mentioned in there about the Humble Bundle stuff as well. Thank you. Carla says, me and my husband started a new YouTube channel a couple of months ago. It's called Ludo TV and it's in Spanish. We would like to be able to build a community like this one. So that's my question. So building the community isn't like, it's not something you kind of can manufacture. Like it's not like you just, it's hard to explain, but you can't force a community. A community has to come together around a common subject, a common cause, a common idea, be that a particular game or be that like sort of a love of painting or something like that. And I've been really fortunate that the community kind of built up in the early days around the BlackJack Legacy YouTube channel, and I used it as an extension of a way that I could interact with people that watched my videos, because sort of I might have been making a video once a week, once every 2 weeks. That was quite a long time apart to be able to have an ongoing discussion. I wanted to get to know people. I wanted to know more about them and what games did they play. I was just really interested to almost create a group of people to talk about the thing that I loved more than anything in the world, obviously other than my family, that I just never got access to on a day-to-day basis. Like I had a small child at home. Like I said, Jackson was like a month or two old at that point. I couldn't get to gaming clubs. I was traveling with work. I didn't really have any friends who were gamers, and I was trying to basically to find other like-minded people, really. And over that period of 4 years, like the Facebook community, the community that comes in here for live streams, the Patreon sort of folks who all come into the Discord and stuff, I've been really, really fortunate that I think, because I talk about a variety of different subjects, we don't seem to get people that are just kind of, I'm only a 40k player, or I'm only an AOS player, or I only play Kings of War. The people that come in tend to like, or at least like, a multitude of different aspects of the hobby. Because I tend to stay away from kind of controversial subjects, and maybe stay away is the wrong term. I think it's more about, I don't actively chase them down to create controversy, to create kind of like animosity and anger in people. I'll talk about them if they're important to me, and I'll talk about them if I think I've got a strong feeling about them, but I don't kind of go that way. Everything I'm trying to do is about trying to break down barriers and help new people get into hobby, make them feel welcome, sort of show them that there's not just one way to do things. Videos like about sort of tabletop standard doesn't exist. Videos that I've done about like gatekeeping in the hobby, and that there's no place for gatekeeping. Painting videos which are really designed and aimed at people just getting started in the hobby, really. Like I'm no pro painter, but I've learned a few tricks to get things done fast, or to get an effective look in a much more simple way. Like things like I did with painting those statues, for example, that was designed around showing people who probably play board games and maybe don't want to paint their minis for fear of messing it up, just how simple it can be. So I think what that's done is it's brought in people who kind of have a similar outlook on the hobby. And so that community has grown up around that. So I think you can't force growing a community. The community will come to you if you stand for something, I think. And I think I go back to what I said there before, is you have to care. you can't grow a community just to say I've got a big community. You grow a community because you actively sort of care about them. When people comment, when people post pictures in my Facebook group, I make a point of trying to kind of comment on as many as I can, or liking those pictures if I like them and stuff. And I try to interact as much as I can. It's really time consuming, but I care. I don't just do it to tick the boxes. I do it because I'm really interested in what people are doing, and I love to see people are doing stuff that they love. So yeah, I think growing a community, I think that my last point was you have to care about it. It can't be just something that you expect to happen, I think. Carlos does do board game reviews. Carl says, how much did it cost to start a YouTube channel? To start with basic gear. It is absolute. If you have a mobile phone, mate, it is absolutely free. You do not need to spend any money to start a YouTube channel. You literally there is software on your phone that you can edit with. You can use the inbuilt mic in your camera, like in your camera phone. They are pretty good. There's free editing software. You can use things like Windows Movie Maker. You don't even have to edit your video. You can literally press record, talk to the camera, and then press stop and upload that. You don't need a fancy PC. Nowadays there is something called YouTube Studio, which is an app, and you can literally upload it from your phone directly into YouTube, and you can title the videos and you could just take a picture with your camera and add that in as a thumbnail. You do not need to spend any money at all to start with a YouTube channel. As you kind of like spend more time, so a kind of equipment that I've got after 4 years, I've obviously got like lights in here, I've got a better microphone, I've got a nice camera. I pay I think it's about, I can't remember how much it is now, it just comes out of my bank. I pay for the Adobe Creative Cloud Suite, which gives me like Photoshop and Premiere Pro and After Effects and all those kind of things, because I do quite a bit of editing and color correction and stuff in my videos to make them look nice. All those things are all optional. Yes, they might make it look a little bit more polished and a bit more professional, but but this is my job now. Like I'm trying to earn a wage by doing this, and so I want to to try and improve the quality the best I can. But but quality alone is not a guarantee anybody will watch your video. You as I said before, you can make a video with your phone and spend absolutely zero on making a video, or you can spend £2,000 on equipment and record that same video. And if the content's not very good, or the idea is not great, nobody will watch either of them. So your equipment is not the most important thing. Just getting stuff done, getting some ideas, even copying other people's ideas isn't a bad thing if you put your own spin on it. Like I'm not the only person to make a video about how to paint a space marine, for example. I'm not the only person to make a video on how to make a gaming table or something like that. As long as you can take an idea and put your own spin on it, then that's good enough. You don't have to come up with every single sort of brand new idea. It's like filmmaking and writing novels and stuff like that. Like there's not been an original idea in quite some time. Everything is based upon something else or influenced by something else. So just concentrate on making a video. It doesn't have to cost you a penny. Skullmunch says, just finished Catacombs game. I'm using the wrong mouse. It's great. It feels like close quarters war cry. It's going to be interesting, mate, because it'll be interesting to see how the different war bands react with that close quarters stuff. VJ says, 20 years in the AV industry, man, I've hoarded enough gear to start 5 YouTube channels. Mark says, no question, but the wife is starting a channel as a chef on the keto diet. She wants to show how to make tasty food with carbs. I'm doing the editing. Nice one, mate. Honestly, just remember, when you're, and this goes for anybody, if you are going to use editing software, you do not have to get it right on the first take. You don't have to get it perfect to camera. Like live streams are a bit different. You need to be comfortable with making mistakes when you're doing live streaming. But if you're going to record something and then edit and chop it up, you only have to get it right once. You might have to do it 20 times to say it right and to get confident enough to say it right. But you only need to say it right once, because then you just chop out all the ones that you made mistakes on and use the good one. That's how they make films. That's what they do. They get actors to do that scene 5 different ways and choose the best one. So don't worry about kind of about trying to get it right and putting pressure on yourself and stuff. But yeah, editing, just kind of find something that just chops it up. There's even an online editor. Once you've uploaded a video to YouTube, there is an online editor you can use within YouTube to kind of cut it up. It takes a little bit of it's not great, but it is free and you can use that. Hello Andrew Fairbanks, hello to Craig as well. Andrew says, I've got a dumb question. Where to get music sounds I can use and not get hit with YouTube banhammer? So mate, you have to use one of two things. You either need to pay for the music, so there are some websites that you can buy music and sounds that you then pay. That you're essentially like paying for the rights to use that in your videos. That way you won't get kind of sort of hit with sort of copyright claims. The other way you can do it is there are some sounds and music online which are called Creative Commons licenses, and they're basically like they're copyright free or license free, and you can use them as long as you credit the creator of that piece of music. And then actually within YouTube itself, there is in the YouTube studio, there is a place where you can go in and download lots of sounds and lots of music that have been approved by YouTube and are free to use for everybody else. It's why you'll hear certain bits of music cropping up in like 30 different videos, because they're all using essentially the same bits of free music, really. But there are a number of different websites. You can check out one called Ben Sound, which has a mixture of free stuff and pay for stuff. There's another one called, I forget what it's called, begins with an E, and you can like basically pay a subscription, so it might be like say £10 a month and you can use as much as you want to. So there's a number of different ways to do that, but you can't essentially just like download the latest, I don't know, Taylor Swift song and stick it in your video. You're not allowed to do that. Scott's saying very wise words. It's funny, it's easy to kind of, I'm good at giving advice, mate. Sometimes I'm not very good at listening to my own advice. VJ saying most of the good ones will cost you an annual sub, but they're worth it. And there, to be honest, that's exactly what I would say. Is you don't need that when you first start out. It might be the difference, like when you're kind of making videos that are getting watched by 20,000, 30,000 people. You might be trying to push the quality and stuff. And at the point where you're making a little bit of money out of it, maybe that's the point when you kind of reinvest that money into your channel. Or your podcast or whatever, and kind of up the game a little bit. But essentially in the early days, like a piece of music might be the difference between a really good video and a fantastic video, but it's not the difference between somebody watching it and somebody not watching it. So don't stress about that kind of stuff. Like people who kind of they spend ages getting fancy intros made and stuff like that, which look fantastic. And then the rest of the video, the quality doesn't match it. So, like, there's a time and a place to kind of to go to the next level. Don't worry about that stuff in the early days. AD, hello to AD. I just started today. What is your best tip? I think of those things I've just been talking about, really. But my best tip is basically it's a combination of those two. I think it's. You have to care about what you're doing. If you don't care, if you're making videos about something because you think that's what'll get them, like for example, like somebody said to me, well, you know, like you've got all the gear and stuff like that. Do you know what you're doing? Why don't you make like sort of toy unboxings? Like they get watched by millions of people. Why not just make toy unboxing videos? And it's like, because you probably would get more views. I just don't care. I'm not passionate about kids' toys. I'm not passionate about like an audience who are probably like 6 to 10 year olds who I won't be able to have that kind of that community feel with. So you have to care. You have to be passionate, because if you're not, you won't put the effort in. Like I've been up at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning finishing off videos to make sure I kind of hit deadlines, and I've put like sort of like 16-hour days in to make sure I kind of create the best video that I can to hit a certain timeline for something. If I didn't care, I'd just throw any old kind of stuff out there, really. So yeah, you have to care about it. And I think the other one to kind of piggybacking on that is to stay true to your passion. Like stick the course. If people told me like live streaming would kill my channel, like loads of people said you like nobody live streams like on YouTube. You should go to Twitch and do that, or don't live stream because your live streams will always get less views. So you might as well kind of like make a video instead and not do a live stream. but I enjoy it. I enjoy these chats. Like, it feels like sitting around with a group of friends. It's the closest thing I get to interacting with other hobbyists. So yeah, just like kind of make sure it's something you're passionate about, and care about what you're doing. VG says the best advice on comments I ever heard was never respond to a negative comment until you've responded to all the positive ones. The positive people deserve your time way more than the negative ones. Yeah, I tend these days now, there's a fine line between people's opinions and constructive kind of sort of comments and negative comments. The negative ones I just tend not to bother with, really. It's not worth my time trying to kind of to argue backwards and forwards. I tend not to bother with it. You know, like, I appreciate they've taken the time to watch the video. I appreciate they've taken the time to kind of comment on it. But like, negativity can really be draining. So I tend not to worry about it. But people who comment on my videos, like, it is time consuming. I get a lot of comments, but I try to at least, even retrospectively, I kind of go back and try to catch up with those comments and say thank you to people, and kind of and be interested in them. If they're telling me thanks for making this video, you've helped me paint like this army or whatever, I'll kind of say thank you very much. How's it going? How did it turn out? Have you played any games? And try and kind of interact with them. That for me is an enjoyable part of it, but it is really time consuming. Epidemic Sounds, that's the one, Neil. Thank you very much, mate. I just saw that as a scrolling through. Where were we up to? Ian says best thing to do is focus on battle. Best way thing to focus on in battle reports: quick and fast, showing basic gameplay, showing explanatory time focus and mechanics. Should they have narrative focus? Right. Battle reports are a really funny one, because if you ever ask people, I've done it myself, and I've learned from this, if you ask people what they like in battle reports, you'll get 25 different answers. If you say, do you prefer a fixed camera versus kind of a handheld camera, you'll get a mix of responses. If you say, should I put the dice rolls in? Should I not put the dice rolls in? You'll get a mixture of comments. If you say, should I skip the movement phase, or should I include it? Should I skip it to make the videos a bit shorter? You'll get a mix of comments. Some people like to see the people playing and see them enjoying the game. Some people don't care about that, and they like to see and they like to just see the gameplay. My advice would be, make the kind of battle report that you like watching, because you will spend a long time editing that battle report. They are not quick things to edit. And if you don't enjoy the content that you're putting out, then why do it? Like, I tend to talk about the topics that I'd like to listen to. I tend to talk about the games that I like to play. And if I make a battle report, I make a battle report the way that I would like to watch it. I'm personally not a fan of handheld cameras in battle reports, because unless they're really good at it, you get a bit of motion sickness, because it's really hard to focus on playing the game, focus on kind of holding the camera in the right place, playing the game with one hand, remembering the rules, try to be entertaining. And what people tend to do is they can be focusing on something, and then they go like this to look at something, and the camera kind of goes away, or they're constantly moving around, and you can get a bit seasick. There are people who do it really well. There are others who don't. So I wouldn't do handheld battle reports, but not because I think they're bad, just because it's not the kind that I personally enjoy to watch. So it's a really hard one when it comes to battle reports. You have to realise that if you're doing something that's not a massively popular game, it's going to get very few views. And if it will take a long time to edit it, you'll be sitting for maybe 5 or 6 hours at least, editing it down, chopping it down, and you might think, actually, it's took me 2 hours to play the game, it's took me 6 or 8 hours to edit the thing, and I've had like 100 views on it. It's just not worth my effort. You have to really want to do it, and you have to enjoy the finished content yourself as well. So that would be my advice, really. But yeah, if you ask other people, you'll get a million different answers. So just do what you like, and people who like what you like will find it. Where are we up to here? Kieran seems very good idea. Someone who's both podcast and YouTube, far smaller here, but I will still do it and not be concerned if anyone listens or watches. If people watch, it's a nice thing, but don't get hung up on the views. Views are fickle. People can watch you one day and not watch you the next day. You have to do it because you enjoy doing it. It's a bit different for me now. This is my job. This is my living now, and I do have to have one eye on, like, sort of monetizing it and making it sustainable. But I've learned, and the model that I've created is basically as if I can keep building the community, and I build a community who are willing to support me making content about the stuff that maybe other people are not talking about, then that's kind of self-fulfilling in itself. So I do stuff different to pretty much any other channel, I suppose. I don't think there's really anybody else kind of who tries to do it the same way. Loads of channels do sponsored content. Like, you'll see this week's video is sponsored by such and such Kickstarter or whatever it is. Some other channels do it their way. I just find that in order for me to stay focused, I have to make the content that I want to watch, and hopefully other people want to watch it too. David says, I'm doing something for the mini swap, but I may need to get a new toy to make it. Oh, I'm interested to see what that is, mate. VJ says, now that Patreon have brought in local pricing and annual subs, any plans to switch to pounds or add annual subs? I've been reading about it, mate, to be honest, and I'm not it's maybe something I need to chat about with the Patreons and stuff, really, and offer it up, because if I switch it to pounds, for example, I guess everybody pays. Do you then all pay exchange rates, if you like? Are you already paying exchange rates now when you're paying, like, in Australian dollars, or you're paying in British pounds? I need to look into that a little bit more and to see if are more people better off switching. The other thing with annual subs, I guess I could include annual subscriptions, which is something Patreon are doing, but then I do wonder whether, is it better for you to have the flexibility to just say, actually, I want to pay every month, because at some point I might not want to subscribe anymore, or somebody might want to just subscribe for a month. I need to look into it more, mate. It's something I've been getting emails about it recently, and I've not really taken the time to look into it much at the minute. But yeah, I'll do some digging. Maybe you know more about it, mate, and you think it's a good or a bad idea. AD says, would you be able to help new YouTubers get subscribers? It's a really, really hard one, mate, right? Because there's a fine line between getting your video in front of people to tell them that it exists, especially when you're first starting out, and spamming their video to the point where everyone goes, you just come into our Facebook group, you dump your video and you disappear. We don't ever hear from you. There's a really fine line. The best way, I would say, to get subscribers, especially in the early days, is tell all your friends, get your friends to subscribe, get your family to subscribe, get those numbers up, get people, only people who are watching it. But if you are part of an online community, if you give as well as take, then people will be interested to see what you're making. So, for example, if you're making videos about Warhammer 40,000, loads of people make videos about Warhammer 40,000. So what sets you apart from all of them? If you're the person that's in that community that's giving out advice and kind of commenting on people's pictures and sort of like saying, like, I really like what you've done here. Have you thought about doing this? Is anybody, or people are asking rules questions and you're helping answer their rules questions? If you make yourself part of that community and give something to that community, when you post a link to one of your videos, people will be more interested to watch it. Over time, all I would say is some videos will just, they're what's called evergreen videos, and they are things that people will search for forever. So, for example, I made a video on how to set your airbrush up. That video didn't really get many views in the first couple of weeks and months, and then out of blue, from nowhere, it started getting views, and it's gone up, and the video has done about 12,000 views now or something. And it's purely because people are searching for that online. People are looking for it, and they are finding the video in YouTube searches, they find it in Google searches, and it shows up. So you have to assume that the content you're putting out is good enough that people want to subscribe and listen to more. But in the early days, just be really wary of just spamming it like across Facebook groups and dumping it on Twitter and dumping it in Reddit and all that kind of stuff. If you're part of a community, and you're helpful to them, they'll be helpful to you. And I find that it's the most beneficial way to grow it without just kind of spamming stuff. Christian with a link there to the Teespring store. Thank you very much, mate. VG says you don't revel in drama and chase clicks. The problem is when you start to do that, you do one of two things. If you do it just to get an initial like boost in subscribers or a boost in views, people will subscribe to your channel, and then they'll very quickly realize that it doesn't really make content about that kind of stuff. So they'll either unsubscribe, or actually what's worse is you end up with what's called dead subscribers. People that basically subscribe to your channel, but they never ever watch any of your content. Or the other side of what happens is you get that like kind of adrenaline rushes. Oh, I've made this video and everybody's watching it. So then you start chasing the clicks. You start getting caught up in the drama, and you get caught up in the negativity stuff, because let's be fair, negativity gets way more kind of like attention than positive stuff. It stinks that that's the case, but that's life at the minute. So people start chasing the clicks then. And then I go back to what I was saying before about follow your passion and care about what you're doing. If you're just doing it for the views, personally, I think you're doing it for the wrong reason. Other people might disagree. Other people will say, well, why else would you do it if you don't want people to watch it? But my personal opinion is, just don't chase that stuff. Lord Maiden says, you see the positive in things which others don't do. You've talked about things that we wouldn't see much value in before and help the community be better. I mean, I'm no kind of like evangelist or anything like that. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like I have my downs, and I have days when I'm not feeling great, and I've kind of, I've openly talked about, like I really struggled like mental health wise with like my old job and stuff like that. But in general, I'm pretty much a kind of a glass half full kind of person, and I like to. I'd rather focus on the positive aspects of stuff. I'd rather encourage somebody than be negative to them, if you like. That's just kind of how I am, I suppose. So yeah, I found that if I talk about subjects that become negative, I find them quite draining, and I actually, the last thing I want to do is make another video about that kind of stuff, even if it never started out that way. Even if like when I talked about the particular subject, I was coming at it from a positive viewpoint, but then people commenting on the video took it in a negative way. I find that quite draining. So it's not something I would want to do, if I'm honest. VG says, even though we've had disagreements on things before, your opinions are always well considered and thought-provoking. Yeah, definitely, mate. Like, I mean, I like to be challenged. I like to hear other people's opinions that don't agree with me. I will never learn anything only listening to people that agree with me. I'll never learn anything by choosing to ignore people that have a different viewpoint. And I think that's kind of a rule for life, really. Like, you have to, I had to turn this, I want to make sure I turned off the recording thing there. You have to expand your horizons. You have to listen to people that don't share your viewpoint. And you will learn stuff. You still might not agree with them by the end of it, but at least you'll understand their point of where they're coming from. It's like at the minute, like there's a lot of kind of stuff going around about coronavirus and stuff, and about like sort of people saying it's all a big myth and it doesn't, like, it's not this, and masks don't work and all of it. Like, I've actively sought out some of that information because I want to understand why people think these things. I'm not saying I agree with them, but like with most kind of what you would call conspiracy theories, they're based in some kind of element of truth somewhere. So I want to try and understand why people feel that. Why do people sort of think the way they think? And I think I treat that the same way when it comes to kind of like miniature gaming and hobby. And like I've talked about 40k. I'm interested in getting in and playing 40k because it is such a popular game. It can't be all that bad. The miniatures are beautiful. Yes, there's elements of any community who are negative, and if you have a big community, there will be big negative elements, and that puts a lot of people off. But it can't be that bad to be this popular and stay this popular. So I want to understand what am I missing out on, that kind of stuff. But yeah, so that's just kind of how I am. I will agree and disagree with plenty of people over time, but yeah, you have to listen to other people's views. Tim Kelly says, "Field of dreams. If you build it, they will come." If you build it and care about it, mate, they'll come. Yes, definitely. Krabby says, maybe you just need to be a certain bald Geordie guy to be successful. To be honest, mate, like, I was conscious of the way I sounded when I first started. I like you watch my early videos. I probably don't talk as fast as I do now. I was conscious that the Northeast accent is quite fast and it can be quite thick at times. So I think I slowed down and I try to pronounce my words differently. And it took me a long time to just kind of relax and be myself. Like how I am on camera now talking to you is how I would be if we were sitting in a pub or sitting in a coffee shop having a conversation. And I hope the folks that I've met at like gaming events and stuff like that would vouch for that. That this is not like some kind of act. I'm not like all kind of sort of, this is not my acting voice and my acting face kind of thing. This is just how I am. But yeah, it took me a couple of years to get comfortable, really, to just kind of be myself. I did think for a while that I had to try and sort of be a more animated version of myself, or I had to be I had to slow down or talk or pronounce my words differently. So yeah, who knows, mate? Who knows what it was? Crabby said that could be either of us. I was touting my services. It's being positive and inclusive really helps. I'm primarily a competitive player, but I never felt unwelcome here. There are plenty of big casual channels that seem to insist on talking down to me. Do you know what it is, mate? I heard something today, and it summed it up for me. Everybody in gaming gets into this to have fun, and there is a section of gamers and players who get their fun from playing competitively. It doesn't make them bad people. It doesn't make competitive gaming bad. In the same way, some people hate to play and only like to paint miniatures. There are some people who love to play competitive gaming. We all love different aspects, but we all love the same thing, and that should bring us together. We should share the common interest, not push away competitive players. I like to hear about competitive gaming. Like I'm competitive myself. I'm just not good enough at playing to be a competitive player. But like when I used to play golf, I used to want to win. Like when I played a lot of sport, I wanted to win. So I completely understand why people enjoy competitive aspects. It's just that I haven't got the time to commit to being a competitive player. But yes, I do find there are competitive channels and communities who will look down on casual players, and there are casual gaming communities who will look down on competitive players. We're all in it. Like we're all in it because we all like basically love some aspect of the same thing, mate. Neil says, yeah, even though my channel is non-existent right now, I would say add that popular $15 Boya Lavalier. Is that how you spell it, Mike? Absolutely amazing. Yeah, I'd agree, mate. I mean, I think if you've got a room that isn't that echoey, you get away actually with using just like your on phone. Actually, the microphone built into like your iPhone or whatever, or your Samsung phone, is actually better quality than the microphone that's built into the camera that I'm using here tonight. But yeah, for not much money, maybe like $15, like you say, that those Boya lavalier mics are really, really good. A lav mic is a great way to get started if you want to try and up the audio quality of your streams. I mean, like the microphone I've got now is, you will know that I only recently bought this. Like after 4 years, I bought a good quality mic because I was getting into issues. The cheap one that I'd been using for years was starting to fail on me, and I was getting some interference and some bits of problems and stuff. It's only now that I've kind of invested in audio equipment, but the stuff I had was good enough. And that's the problem. It's like the light that's above me here that you will never ever see on camera looks awful. If I want to upgrade it for one that looks kind of better and has all of the like kind of like the, you know, they have the kind of like the filters on so that it doesn't shine across onto my head, it shines straight down onto the table. If I want to buy one of those, they're about £250. But that's dead money. That is money that I will never get back. You won't see any better quality on the videos. It's just when I'm sitting here filming it, I'll think, that's a good light, that. The one that's up there now is like a 30 quid light or something. And I've got bits of like cut up neoprene mat hanging off the sides of it to stop any light that comes off it, like kind of like shining onto my face when I'm doing like battle report type stuff. It doesn't look great, but it does the job. And that's the point about spending the money to make a difference. And yeah, sometimes there's just not the need for those kind of stuff. Peter Cooman, hello mate, how are you doing? You just got back from work, saying happy anniversary. Thank you very much, Mr. Cooman. Carla says, totally agree on the inclusivity is what I love about this group. This is a great group, and it's not, I don't make it a great group. It's not me. It's the fact that you all come together. You all welcome new people. If there's anybody in the chat tonight, I just want to shout out. There's like 85 people watching now. If there's anybody in the chat tonight that's never commented on a live stream before, or it's your first time here, please do say hello in the chat, because the group here are a really welcome and friendly bunch. There's never any animosity. Everybody just wants people who enjoy the hobby, the same hobby that they do as well. Warwick Dark Edge says Harris Heller has copyright-free music for everyone. He does do some stuff, mate. Somebody I know played some of his stuff on their live stream, and the live stream got took down. So I don't know if it was a coincidence or whatever it was. They've since used it again, and it's fine. I've thought about putting, especially on a Wednesday painting stream, I've thought about putting on some kind of like low noise kind of music in the background and stuff. Just so that when I'm sitting when I go quiet, when I'm concentrating on something, just to kind of take that silence away. And his stuff is the stuff I've been looking at. But yeah, he is on Spotify, mate. Neil saying, yeah, Epidemic Sounds, that's the one. Ed's saying that VG has never seen a competitive channel talk down to casuals. I think it's probably less about channels, mate, actually, and it's probably more about like sort of groups, I think, like Facebook groups and stuff like that. Mark says, I have Premiere Pro as my work machine, has the full Adobe Cloud Suite, playing with color corrections and transitions. I know they won't look amazing to start with as we're both learning. Everything I know, mate, I learned from watching YouTube videos. There's so much advice out there. Like if you know what you're trying to do, and you just Google it or type it into YouTube, that somebody will have made a video on how to do it. Everything I've learned about Photoshop, about doing my thumbnails and all that kind of stuff, all of these kind of, the fact that I've got all these these things up here and the super chat thing at the bottom, the way they all pop up and stuff, it's all stuff that I've learned from Googling and from YouTube. I didn't know how to do any of this stuff when I started 4 years ago. There's so much free help out there that you should never be frightened to get out there and just give things a try. Lord Maiden says, everybody's welcome. It's a great community and glad to hear people feel included. Yeah, me too, mate, as well. Neil saying, for those interested, for editing, DaVinci Resolve, it's movie industry standard software that they use and totally free. I started with Sony Vegas when I first started, and it used to crash a lot on my computer. And then I moved to Premiere Pro later when I just what I wanted to. I think what I needed software for doing my thumbnails and stuff. I needed software for editing. I just thought actually for the small monthly fee, it was worth it to me. I was making a small amount of money off ad revenue and a little bit of Patreon and stuff, and for me it was worth the money to kind of invest that back into the channel. Everything that's here, everything you see, all the stuff that's in the background, the camera, the lens, the lights, the microphone, all of that stuff is basically been paid for with me just reinvesting any money I make, just putting it back into the channel at the right time. Carla says using DaVinci as well. VJ says, or he did before I jumped. Diffuser, that was the thing I was trying to remember, mate, for the light. There you go. It's lost on me. There's no point in me spending 250 quid on a light when I don't even know what the bits are called. Where were we at there? VG was saying something. If anyone does want a fancy intro, that sort of thing, let me know. Happy to do good rates. Yes, VG does do good stuff. Resolve, Vegas, Premiere, all good. Yeah, I mean, it really depends on what you're trying to do. You don't need the fancy editing software. The cheap stuff will work. It's just when you're trying to do fancy transitions and all that kind of stuff, that's when you start to get into the more expensive stuff, really. Carl says, how does YouTube work when it comes to earning money from ads? Okay, mate, so it's changed a little bit since I first started. When I first started, you could, as soon as you started making videos, you could turn on monetization. And essentially what it would do is, it used to basically, it would run adverts, essentially when it felt like it really, it used to. But if your video was over 10 minutes in length, you could insert those adverts at as many as you wanted at whatever point you want in the video. Since then, YouTube have changed it because they had a big issue with advertisers' videos being shown on channels which were using kind of hate speech, or people that would had been videoing kind of like riots and that kind of stuff. So they changed it that you had to have 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours of watch time in the last 12 months. And what that meant was it was channels that basically, to get 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours of watch time, you've probably been putting some effort in. You're probably not somebody who's just kind of sort of like making the odd hate speech video anonymously and then shutting down the channel and starting another one and doing another video. So those are the requirements now: 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours of watch time. Essentially, what happens is they've now changed it, so any video over 8 minutes, you can choose where you put the adverts. If you don't choose, YouTube will automatically insert them themselves. And essentially, there is something which is called CPM, which is clicks per mil, I think it is. And basically, for every 1,000 views you get on a video, for every 1,000 views that somebody watches an advert on your video, you will make roughly $2. And depend upon what type of content you make, depends on if that ad revenue can go up or can go down a little bit. But this is why you can't run a YouTube channel. This is why I rely on things like Patreon and donations and selling t-shirts and things. I can't run a YouTube channel making content about stuff that isn't the most popular things and rely upon ad revenue, because essentially I would need to be getting probably like 50,000 views per video to even think about having any kind of a decent income coming from ad revenue itself. But the people that get who have videos that have like 1 million views on in a few days, they're making big sums of money. But like your average channel, somebody probably like 50,000 views, 50,000 subscribers, the kind of views that they're getting is probably still not making like huge amounts of money on it. When I say huge, not enough to make it like a job full time. So you can make money on it, but you will make very little. And it probably took me. I was probably making videos for about a year before I ever saw my first payment. Essentially what happens is in the UK you have to earn £60 before they will pay you out. So it took me about a year to earn £60, for example. So yeah, you don't make a lot of money through ad revenue. It's climbing as I get more views. And it's a nice little side income. So if I make my money from ad revenue, I make my money from people who have the membership. So if you see anybody in the chat here tonight who's got a green name, they pay a monthly fee for that. I pay from Patreons, from affiliate links, from Patreon, I've said, from affiliate links, from selling merchandise, all those kind of things. And that's what's made it possible for me to be able to come and do this full time. I don't earn like anywhere near minimum wage, but I earn enough that it basically it pays what I need to be able to do what I love every day. But yeah, if you're trying to just run it purely just from ad revenue, you almost give up before you start, I think. Andrew Fairbanks says, that's a good tip I've noticed. Answer or like comments on your vids, especially early on, and then again after the big spike and dip in numbers, you make lifelong fans. For me, it's not even about making fans, mate. It's about making friends, to be fair. Like if somebody takes the time to watch what I've created and then on top of that takes the time to come and comment on one of my videos, like I want to know more about them. I'm genuinely interested in the people that are watching my stuff and take the time to comment on it. We're probably on a similar wavelength. We probably like the same kind of things. So for me, it's about it's about building that community. It's about sort of finding out. I want to know more about them as well. It's not a one-way thing. And Andrewson, yeah, even if you comment as I disagree with that, and here's why. Yeah, VG says trying to be entertaining. So it's kind of hard because it's not something like, unless you're a trained actor, being entertaining is something that kind of, and I'm not suggesting for 1 second that I am, but I think as you become more relaxed, like if you're playing a game with your mate at home, the kind of the banter that you have between you, the laughs that you have, the kind of the in-jokes that you have, they come naturally. And I think the longer you make YouTube videos, that comes across naturally as well. And the more you build a community, they understand some of those inside jokes and things, and people laugh about the same kind of things. It's like this like the whole like where we at and all this kind of stuff. Like that, those are the little jokes that like you'll always take the mick out of me about. Like new people might not know what that means, but entertaining, I guess, is subjective. I'm sure there are many, many people who do not want to watch me, and I am probably the last person on the list of channels that they ever want to watch. And that's fine. We all like different things. There are plenty of channels that are popular that I don't like to watch. That's just the way it is. It's like some people will like certain types of films, some people will like certain types of music. So being entertaining is important, but it's different and it's subjective to everybody. Welcome back, Marcus. Tim says, battle reports don't speak a million miles an hour and plough through it. I wonder what you're getting at there, mate. I know exactly what you're getting at. Let's Talk Board Games is getting in late. Congrats on 4 years. Thank you very much. Neil says, on Patreon, the way I understand it was that if someone supports in the US, they're still paying US dollars, and Patreon makes the conversion, so you get that money in GBP, so you can track your own funds easier. So the way it works at the minute is I get on the 1st of every month, Patreon starts to charge my Patreons, and assuming that payment comes through, it all comes into a pot in my Patreon account in US dollars, and then I can withdraw that money back to my PayPal account in US dollars, and then I think PayPal do the conversion. So I need to look into it to see whether it's better for me, whether it's better for you, and that kind of stuff. But at the minute, I'm quite I'm happy with how it's working. But if there's a way to make it cheaper for people or to make it easier for people, I'm definitely interested in finding out. Carrie says, I'm sub to about 30 channels but only watch 4 or 5 regularly. Is that hurting those channels I'm not watching often? It kind of does a little bit, mate, because what it does is YouTube won't send you like a notification to those videos, because when they release something new, YouTube sends a notification to a small amount of their subscribers, almost like as a bit of a test case. So, for example, I've got 9,000 subscribers. It might send a notification to about 500 of them. And judging by how many of that 500 then click on that notification and watch my video, it might send it out to a few more. And if it's a bit of a topic that people are really engaged with, and it starts more and more of my subscribers are kind of clicking on it, then they start to send it out a bit wider across YouTube. And then that is when a video really starts to take off, when it gets sent out to more people. And people maybe that wouldn't even ordinarily think about clicking on a video, there's something in the thumbnail or something in the title that seems interesting. So they click on it, and eventually it'll go wider and wider. And that's what happens with kind of viral videos when they really take off. Or somebody, when you see in the comments where, no idea why this was recommended to us, but I've really enjoyed it. It's that kind of stuff. If you subscribe to channels and you never ever watch their content, it basically, what it means is that YouTube won't send you a notification. It's one less person. That it makes it look like the video is not being enjoyed by the subscriber base. So therefore, they don't really send it out to anybody else. So this is why you shouldn't this is why people shouldn't make like sort of fake email accounts and subscribe to their own channel to get the numbers up. They're actually hurting themselves. Or this kind of, if you subscribe to my channel, I'll subscribe to your channel. That kind of stuff. It only works. So you should subscribe to the channels that you like to watch. Otherwise, you're not really doing anybody a favor. Essentially, that's how it works. Marcus is saying, Andy for tabletop pope or president. Your choice. Neil says, actually, that means that your US supporters pay a varying amount with exchange rates rather than you getting varied amounts as a creator in the UK. I do get varied amounts each month, but I want to try and keep it simple for people, basically. I know some people are not keen on Patreon, but essentially I want to try and keep it accessible and easily understandable. I need to kind of look into it and find out more. Because what I don't want is I don't want everybody else paying variable amounts every month just so that I get the same amount every month. I'd rather they paid the same every month. And unfortunately, I'm at the mercy of the exchange rates then. Tony says, problem with drama chasers is they force people like me away from communities. The dramas scare me and they trigger for anxiety and depression. To be honest, mate, the kind of, I've got my own anxiety issues when the drama stuff kicks off as well, because what I don't want to be the target of kind of some kind of hate campaign just because I don't agree with somebody. Like, you should be able to have an opinion and not be frowned upon for it. Depend upon how atrocious that opinion is. But just in general, not agreeing with somebody shouldn't be a reason to have them kind of pile on and sort of like throw horrible comments in at it. Crowley says, I enjoy streaming live, but I often do Instagram live streams to talk away to myself. Live streaming for me, mate, was something that I did because in theory, it didn't take much preparation when I first started. I would literally turn the camera on and stream it, and it was a way of making sure that if I'd been busy with work every week, I'd at least have consistent uploads every week. Every Monday I would do a live stream, and that was how it started. But then I realised I really enjoyed it, and I started to do more research, and actually it takes me as long now, if not longer, to do a live stream and prepare for a live stream than it ever does to make a video. So I'm not really saving any time by doing live streams. I take a lot of pride in kind of talking about stuff that I've researched and I understand about, and I've looked into different sides of the argument and that kind of stuff. But yeah, like live streaming is harder than it looks, and especially when you first start out and you'll get you look if you get one viewer, you can live stream to an empty room, but you have to keep talking like it's full of 100 people. Otherwise, it's really, really difficult. Jimmy G, hello mate. Says late in learning to paint horses. Well, one hardest thing I've done, but we'll crack the technique. Neil says, don't understand why people don't realise the world is flat when they wear flat shoes. So I like to understand that too. I watched a load of kind of conspiracy stuff about flat Earth and stuff, trying to understand why do people think the world is flat? Like, why do people think the Earth is flat? There has to be some kind of scientific reasoning for this, because these people are not just kind of like crazy, if you like. So I love looking into the other side of an argument and trying to understand why people think differently to me. Jacob's in saying late to party, but happy anniversary, bud. Thank you very much, mate. Marcus has seen it, Tony there. You get that when several of his friends broke up with their girlfriends. I got stuck in the middle. We've all been there, mate, haven't we? Christian sharing a link to the Facebook group as well. Thank you very much. Korax, hello. Says good evening. Congrats on the 4 years on YouTube. Thanks again for the fantastic Warcry terrain building video. There's a couple of, thank you very much, by the way, but there's a couple of videos that I'm kind of remembered for now. The Warcry video and the how to build a gaming table video. Those are the two they're my two most kind of watched videos as well. But those are the ones that people seem to most often have come to the channel from. VJ saying, yeah, the local currency thing is more for the producers to stabilise their income. The annual subs are more for Patreons, as they mostly have a discount. 12 months for the price of 10 or 11. I'll need to look into that then, mate, because if people want to do that and pay up front and save a few quid, then I'm happy to do that. I mean, for me, it means that I've got 12 months payment, if you like, or 10 months payment, where somebody might not want to. If I can do it as an option thing, I'll look into it. Marcus saying, unless you're talking about drama as a genre, it's a 4-letter word in my group of friends. Yes. Andrew says, some of us are here because we get our jollies by hating things. X prices, fan bases, Games Workshop, new players, all things. It's an interesting thought, mate. Some people do get off on the anger and on the hate. I personally don't, mate. I don't. But I'm happy to argue my point if I think something different. William Jones says, I swing back and forth on competitive and friendly narrative or scenario gaming. About 10%, 20% competitive when I've got an army and running hot. Yes, mate, diffuser. That's what I was trying to think of before. I can't even remember the brand of the thing, but they come with like a really nice diffuser on them, so that essentially the light doesn't just come out and kind of bounce out. It'll stay on the table and won't shine on my face. Neil says, if you buy that light, make sure to point out how nice it is on each video. Yeah. Hello, David Moffat. How are you doing? He says, I think I need that on a t-shirt. It doesn't look great, but it works. I like that, mate. Krabby says, I think I make it a great group. Couldn't do it without you, mate. Hethwell says, fancy gear without solid content is like a shit movie script with a ton of CGI eye candy. It doesn't change a thing. Yes, mate, I would agree. What's it called again? The Justice League springs to mind, mate. John says, this sums me up personally. Doesn't look good, but does the job. Mark says, believe me, looking for cheap and easy ways to modify equipment is not hard, and it can sometimes be better than the expensive stuff. Yeah, some of the stuff, like for example, you will see when I do my video tour thing, the light that is here, like facing me, used to be on a tripod, which then took up loads of space on the ground and got right in the way. So now that light is on a selfie stick, and the selfie stick is attached to a bracket on the ceiling, and it means that when I'm filming, I can pull the light down, and it lights up my face, and then when I'm not filming, I can lift it back up and push it up towards the ceiling. I've got another one here as well at the side of me, so when I'm doing any battle report stuff, I've got light shining from the two sides. I've got cameras. You might be able to see it if I move it across here. I've got cameras here on boom arms, so I can move cameras in and out when I'm doing battle report type stuff and get them in the right places. Everything is about using what I can to free up as much space as I can, to make it as user-friendly, to make it adaptable, to make it multi-purpose. I enjoy that kind of stuff as well. Neil says, get classy, plenty of royalty-free classical music. There is, mate, you're right. Ian was saying something before I jumped off my screen. Where was that one? There it was. You aren't too fast talking. Routinely watch at 1.5 speed. Good. Andrew says, if women don't find you handsome, they should at least find you handy. Davidson, Da Vinci Resolve first and was completely baffled. Yeah, I think it's really easy to get kind of to get caught up in the array of options. Definitely. VG says, well, they do say sometimes truth is stranger than fiction. You're not wrong. Crowley says, when you're painting your nails, do you use toe dividers? I've never painted my nails, mate. Ian says, Nihilor has good music, royalty free, open to use with credit. I'll have to check that, mate. I've not heard of that. Neil says, for sure, as a work concept and comic artist, you can't beat the Adobe suite. I find it really useful, mate. Now that I use it every day, I do find it really useful. He says, there's a really good video about how money on YouTube works once you're earning, so far as what you earn for an ad. I'll see if I can find the link. Yeah, it's interesting, but it's I think people think that you make a load of money from YouTube ad revenue, and you do if you get a load of views. And when I say a load of views, I mean videos need to be getting 1 million views to be making any kind of like real money where you could run a business, kind of that kind of stuff. But the videos that get millions of views tend to be made by channels that are like 10 million subscribers or whatever it is, and that kind of stuff. John says, I got an advert for super glue before last Wednesday's stream. The algorithm's learning. Good. I'm glad. Did you watch it? That's the important thing. I only get any money from those ads if you watch them. Neil saying the videos are fascinating look at YouTube and money. Yeah, it shows how she made far more money from videos with far less views. Yeah, and you can. The ones you will make from videos with far less views is because you cover subjects that the advertisers pay higher ad rates for. So, for example, if you've got a channel like with makeup and stuff like that, a lot of those advertisers will pay kind of big bucks. If you've got a channel that's unboxing iPhones, tech gear is another one. You'll make more ad revenue with like tech stuff. If you're making stuff about Warhammer and about Kings of War and if you're doing a live stream talking about what you've been doing for the last 4 years, you will not make a lot of money from ad revenue. But as long as I can make enough from all of the different revenue streams, and I can make enough to pay my bills, then this works for me. I'm not trying to get rich from this. I'm trying to create a sustainable way to do what I love. And at the minute, I'm not quite there yet, but yeah, I'm not far off it. Crisis, thing is with YouTube, even if you've got 1 million subs and getting loads of views, they can turn it off or move the goalpost. Yes, exactly, mate, they can. If you do something wrong, if somebody puts a copyright claim on your video, any of those kind of stuff, that money can stop very, very quickly. Which is why things like Patreon and people's donations on the live streams, that's why it's really important to me. It's much more sustainable. The ad revenue I see is a top up. It's a nice way to try and top up what I'm earning, but I cannot rely upon that at all. I've had videos where the monetization's been turned off because I've got the name War in the title. Kings of War is a prime example. It's one of the reasons that Beasts of War changed their name to On Tabletop, because they had war in their title and it was causing some issues with their monetization. So it's nice. It's nice when it comes in, but I can't rely upon it, and I can't, and it's not a lot, to be fair. Scott says, join the Patreon. It's great. Thank you very much, Scott. It's the Patreon for me enables me to have a place with Discord, where the folks that want to kind of go the extra mile and kind of support me financially as well have a place to hang out together, because they're all quite like-minded as well. And it's more manageable. It's difficult to kind of, I mean, there's 9,000 people in the community when it comes to all the subscribers. I can't possibly know everybody by name. I can't know everybody by to know more about them. It gives me an opportunity to get to know the at least a portion of the community much better. Neil says, don't go and watch it till we're finished here. Scott's saying, yeah, Discord's just like this chat. It is, mate. Yeah, you're right. Redwell says, make an update for the Walking Dead All Out War for a 4-year tribute. Yeah, it was my unboxing the Walking Dead was my first ever video. I've actually got, not Walking Dead specific, but I've got some video ideas to be doing over the next few weeks, which are a little bit different to what I normally do. One of them is about making something. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. That it's potentially a bit of a tribute to that. Simon Davis says, early tomorrow, off to bed. Once again, congrats. Thank you very much, sir. Christian saying, Andy's Goblin Gaming link. Thank you very much, Christian, for sharing that, and thank you to everybody that's using that link. I don't know why, but nobody pretty much used it for quite a long time, and then it's starting to pick up now. And people are clicking on the Goblin Gaming link. I get fantastic service whenever I use them. It's the reason that I started using Goblin Gaming for my affiliate link myself. And it helps. It's another avenue where it doesn't cost you any more to help support me. So if you're buying stuff online anyway, I'll always say buy from your local gaming store, especially in these times when local stores need help and support. Always shop there first. If you use them, if you play games there, support your local gaming store. But if you just shop online for the best price or whatever, please do check out Goblin Gaming. Fantastic service, and it helps me as well. Scott saying, I watch channels depending on the content. If I have a common interest, I'll watch. Yeah, and there are some channels where I'll watch some stuff they do and not other stuff that they do. Because not everything will always interest you. It's one of the things with my channel is because there's so much variety in the stuff that I do, you might not be interested in everything I do, which is why it's important for me to do more content, because that way, at least once a week, there should be something that you want to watch, kind of thing. VJ says, how about that Armada stuff, magic and faction rules? Right, mate. So in Armada, there is nothing specific as spells as such. There are magical artifacts that basically upgrade the crew on your ship, or they might upgrade the weapons on your ship, or they will give you special abilities. So magic is in things like, I'm trying to remember now because the rule book's next door. If you're familiar with Kings of War, how you get magical upgrades on your units, it works the same way in Armada. When it comes to faction rules, so if you've got Basileans, for example, there is a faction card. So if you know the cards that you get for Vanguard, where your faction has like a specific rule, or if you've seen the stat lines in Kings of War, where I think it's like dwarves have something like headstrong or something like that, there is those kind of flavor rules for each faction. Below that as well is that there are specific sort of keywords on each of the ships as well, and those keywords give a little bit of flavour to that particular ship. So they might have special rules that say, I'm trying to remember, I haven't got the things in front of me now, but they'll have certain abilities like for example, one of the dwarf ships says that if it fires from its rear cannon, it's got like a flame belcher on it, and if it hits with the rear cannon, it also sets the ship alight. So there's kind of some abilities on those kind of stuff. There are also captains, named captains for the ships that you can take as like upgrades if you like, so you pay points for them, and they also introduce like flavorful rules as well. A lot of this I wasn't allowed to talk about when I made the first video, because Mantic asked me to not go into the rules in detail and explain everything, because they wanted to talk about it in the build-up themselves. I'm sure they will still do that, but as time's getting on and I know people want to know more about the game, I thought like it's only fair to kind of answer that stuff. Does that help, VJ? Carrie says, Andy, congrats on 4 years. Keep making the vids. I'll keep watching. Great channel. Thank you, Carrie. That's really, really kind of you. Scott says, apart from Ash Barker, he speaks so fast I struggle to understand him. I think I thought that's what or who was it who said it? Somebody was saying about speaking fast earlier on. I think that's what they were talking about. Lord Maiden says, yeah, I'd like to hear about some Armada, please, when you're ready. Does that answer your questions? If anybody else has got any Armada questions, feel free to ask. What I'll do is in a couple of weeks' time, if Mantic haven't released more stuff, I'll do like a Monday night live stream on an Armada. Me and my wife are still planted to film that second battle report, and I'm trying to put more into that as well. We hope to do that in the next week. Time allowing now with lockdown, we obviously can't go anywhere, so we should, in theory, have time to do that. David says live streaming is a lot of fun when you get some good folks to chat with. It's a bit of a double-edged sword, because like when you first start streaming, you won't get any viewers, or you'll get very few viewers, and it's quite hard. So that's why the topics for me were all the topics were always a bit of a comfort thing for me, that if I didn't get many people in watching, at least I would have something to talk about. So that was where the whole topic ideas came from. These days, I could probably just turn the camera on and just talk, to be fair, and just chat to people. But I kind of like having something to fall back on. I think it's a bit of a safety blanket for me. And then it's a kind of a double-edged sword, because then the more popular they become, the chat can sometimes get so lively that you can't actually interact with everybody. I kind of like where we are at the minute. I like this kind of somewhere between kind of 80 and 150 people in the live streams. Gives me the opportunity to almost read every comment. I would imagine at some point in the future, and it might be 5 years away, if the live streams keep picking up, it'll be hard to keep up with people. I look at people like Uncle Adam from Tabletop Minions. There's no way he could ever possibly answer everybody's comment. And his live stream chats tend to be more the folks chatting with each other in the chat, to be fair. Marcus says, flat earthers confuse the hell out of me. They believe other planets are round, but the earth is flat. I'd never thought about it that way before, mate. But some of the stuff they talk about is quite convincing, and I must admit, when I've been watching these things, I've been thinking, really, is that right? And I start to empathise with why they think the way they think. But I love all that stuff. Nicholas Hansen says, YouTube randomly placed me here, but here, it's interesting listening to you. Cheers for 4 years. Thank you very much, Nicholas. That just shows that sometimes YouTube does work in my favour. Vijay says, yeah, with all the producers offering annual, I've moved to that for the savings. Let me look into it then, mate, over the next few days, and I'll see what I can do and give it as an option. David says, off to pick up the kid. Wish I had been able to catch more of the show. See you. Thank you very much, David. And Vijay says, I would love that if you offered it. Yes, not a problem, mate. Florian says, one of the most popular YouTubers from my country died 2 days ago. Wow. I'm sorry to hear that, mate. Christian sharing the Amazon links as well. Yeah, Amazon ones, folks. I'm sure Amazon are a massive company. I'm sure most of you shop on Amazon. I don't think hardly anybody click my Amazon links. Put it this way, in order for me to make any money from Amazon, I need to amass £25 in my account before I can remove that money. And it takes me 6 months to make £25, maybe longer, 8 or 9 months. Nobody really uses the Amazon links. So either please do click them. Please check them out. Please remember to use them. They're in every one of my videos. They're in the Facebook group as well. If you're in the Facebook group, they'll be in the announcements tab as well on there. So if you are, especially when Black Friday coming up and stuff like that, and especially in the UK with lockdowns, can't go shopping, anybody that's shopping on Amazon, honestly, it's a huge help to me. You don't pay any more money. So yeah, those are the kind of things that help me out. Carol says, as long as they don't phase out my army or decide stuff with new stuff, I'll be okay. As long as you don't phase out my army or decide to stuff it with new stuff. I wonder what we're talking about, Carol. Have I missed a part of a conversation there, Carol? Andrew says, so, favourite video topic you've made, video you've had most fun making, most boring topic you've done, most dragging video to make, most under video, something you thought you'd like but hated in reverse. So, favourite video topic I've made, it's a tough one, really. There's videos I've made, I've been really happy with the outcome. So like things like when I made my original core space video, I felt like it was a step one in the quality of how I reviewed videos. When I did the one recently for Code 1, for Infinity Code 1, it was another video where I felt I took a step up. The one I did recently for God Tier, I felt like I'd put a bit more cinematography and editing and stuff into it, and a bit more effort, if you like. So those are the ones I kind of, regardless of how many views they get, I like the fact that I feel like I'm happy with what I've achieved, kind of thing. Video I had the most fun making. I've enjoyed the videos I've done with my son Sam when we've done the gameplay videos, so things like when we played Vanguard and when we played Walking Dead. I've enjoyed playing those ones. The live stream on the Monday night where we played Walking Dead, and the woman next door was banging on the door, getting me to go and chase an owl. That's one that I'll always remember. When we've done the live streams and done the fighting fantasy stuff and things, I've had a lot of fun with those ones as well. I think the live stream ones are the ones I have fun with because I feel like we're interacting. The other ones I feel more about, it's more about me kind of being happy with what I've produced, regardless of how many views it gets. Do I feel like I've made a good video? Most boring topic you've done? I think boring and dragging probably were similar. There was one live stream, and I forget which one it was now, but I felt like the topic ran out of steam, or it went off track, and maybe I wasn't feeling myself that day, but it felt like hard work, and I forget which one it was, and it wasn't for the lack of interaction, it was just the fact I felt like we kept going over old ground with some stuff with the chat, and I think it was more I probably wasn't in the right headspace at the time. And most undervid, something you thought you'd like but hated. Highlander, the board game. I love the film. Massive fan of Queen music and all that kind of stuff. Wanted to love the board game. Didn't. I actually even played the game extra times because I thought there is no way I'm playing this game right. It can't be as bad as I think it is. And the reverse of that was probably the God Tier stuff. I honestly didn't think I would like God Tier. I thought it was just another kind of hex-based combat game like everything else, but I loved it, and I enjoyed making the video because I didn't think I was going to like the game. So yes, Chuck and Deb Taylor says happy to be part of this great group. It's a sunny day here. Oh, sunny! It's been a while since I've seen sunshine. 18 degrees. Keep up the great work. Thank you very much. Marcus is saying, VTuber girls, they make a ton. Yes, I ain't ever going to make any money out of my looks, that's for sure. Chris says, was just able to count the audiobooks available in the Humble Bundle deal that's available for the next 8 days. There are 22 audiobooks if you go in with a top tier. Not bad at all, mate. Bobby Clark, hello, mate, how you doing? He says, well done on 4 years. Really enjoy listening to you. Coincidentally, I've been a commission painter for the same amount of time. Always nice seeing your own business take off, and well done, mate. Thank you very much, mate. Your stuff is fantastic, and I'm sure you will be busy for a long, long time to come. Hello, mate. Be right back. Dominic, hello, mate. How you doing, Dom? This is just popping to say happy birthday, happy anniversary. Sorry. Scott says, watching your videos and these live streams just tempt me into buying the games that you suggest. You naughty boy. If only I made any money out of you buying those games. I mean, obviously, if you buy anything I recommend through Goblin Gaming, I will make a small commission on that. But generally, like the War Cradle stuff, for example, Goblin Gaming don't sell War Cradle stuff. I don't make any money from that. They don't sell the God Tier stuff. I don't make any money from that. It doesn't influence the content that I make. But so when I'm talking about something, I'm not trying to influence you to buy something. You might be influenced, but that's never what I'm setting out to do. And I think because I tend to talk about, like, there's plenty of things that I've not made content on when it's been sent to me because I didn't enjoy it, and it wasn't because it was bad. It was because it's not my kind of thing. So there's no point me making a video going, this is rubbish. It's not really my kind of thing. You might like it, but I don't like it. I'd rather tell you about something that I do enjoy, but then balance it out with. But actually, whilst I enjoy it, there are a couple of things here that I don't like as much or something like that. So I think what tends to happen is I'm more upbeat and I'm more interested about the stuff I make content on. Therefore, it might be more influencing. I'll put it that way. VG says, yep, that's great. Thank you, Andy. Looks like I need to push up in Kings of War as well. Then no worries, mate. Steve Sanderson, hello fella, how you doing? Says, congrats and sleep is calling. Sleep well, mate. Scott says, do more God Tier content, please. Are you still enjoying it? And what are the other war bands like apart from the starter ones? I'll be honest, mate, I've not played a huge amount like recently. I've been doing a lot of other content and bits and pieces, and I've not had the chance to play with every war band I've got yet. But I am still playing it, and I am still enjoying it. And the more I play it, the more I see the tactics and the tricks and it's so much about positional play. It's really it's like a game of chess. It's fantastic. Ian says, carriers in Armada, still make my own anyways, but would be cool if they were in there. They're not in the core rules, mate. They're not intended to. How can I phrase this? They're not mentioned in the rule book, and I have not heard anything of them coming. That's not to say they won't come in the future. The rules for the individual ships come on cards when you buy the ships. So there's no rules in the book itself for the individual factions. Vijay says, yeah, Tabletop Minions 1s can get a little insane, especially when it gets to like 600 or 700 online. Yeah. Vijay saying, Amazon Australian website is pretty terrible for variety in stock. Is it really, mate? I didn't realise that. Stu saying, yeah, I agree with Scott. Some more God Tier would be great. Yeah, I'll get to that one, mate. Feature saying, yes, Highlander, shittiest game ever. I so much wanted to love that game. I love Highlander. I'm a massive. Sean Connery's just dying as well. Rest in peace, Sean Connery. I think it's one of my favourite films from like being younger. I was so sad it wasn't good enough. Lord Bain says, so what games have you felt meh about? Middle of the road that neither tickles your good vibes or causes you distress? So as an example, I was sent the rule book for, what's it called? Before I get into that, I've been sent loads of board games for like Kickstarter and stuff where the rule book is so terrible I can't even play the game. Like they're so badly laid out. I've tried many times and I can't play them, and so like there's stuff like that. But recently I was sent the rule book for there's a miniature agnostic game called Brutality. You might have seen the videos that are on Ash Barker's channel. He's been making some videos about it recently, and the rulebook looks nice. It's really well laid out. It's really well written. It just didn't tickle my fancy for me. You know, I'm not a huge fan of miniature agnostic games. What I found was trying to play it is I just wasn't engaged in it because I couldn't, like there's lore and background in the book, but because they don't like gel with a miniature range where I can visually see where this world comes alive, it just didn't click for me. And there's nothing wrong with the game like per se. It's just not my kind of thing. So I had a chat with the guy who wrote it, and I just said, look, I'm not going to review it because I don't want to be negative about a game that there's not really anything wrong with, but it's just not my kind of thing really. So what I don't, and especially when I think it's the first rule set he's written, he's a new creator, he doesn't need me sort of publicly putting out there that I don't like a game, because that it doesn't really help anybody. It's just not my cup of tea. It's not my kind of game. In the same way I've played things like, let me think, what games have I played that I just not been like right up my street. Like Blood Bowl as an example. There's no point me doing a review of Blood Bowl and just saying I don't like the game. Thousands of people play Blood Bowl and absolutely love it. It doesn't make it a bad game. It's just not my cup of tea kind of thing. Same about, actually, you're saying about like middle of the road, neither tickles your good vibes or causes you distress. Middle Earth Strategy Battle is another one for me. It just doesn't do it for me. There's nothing technically wrong with it. It's just loads of people rave about it. It's just, for me, I'm not invested in Lord of the Rings as a franchise. So for me, it's just a rule. It's just a fantasy rule set to me because I'm not invested in the story, if you like. So I think that's where there's kind of like some games like that one. VJ says, I think we both hate Highlander as much as we both love Blitzball. I think you're right, mate. Connor, hello Connor. It's his first time commenting on a live stream. YouTube recommended your channel to me a few days ago. Glad it did. Finished my first town model watching your videos. Thank you very much, Connor, and welcome, mate. Thank you. Awesome to have you here. Reroll Dice is glad to catch your show. I first found your channel looking for a way to assemble a war criterion. I don't generally comment on your live vids, but I enjoy it a lot. Thank you. It's really kind of you to say so. Thank you very much, mate. Mark says, I think we're all disappointed in Highlander. Yes. Scott says, talk to Goblin Gaming and get them to start selling God tier. I'd buy everything from them. Just Goblin Gaming don't always sell what I want at a time. Yeah, to be honest, mate, Goblin Gaming don't always sell every range. But I'm not going to let that influence the kind of like the games that I play. I'd much rather you just find the best price or support a local gaming store that does sell it, or go direct to Steamforged and tell them you found it because of my review or something like that. I want people just to kind of get their best deal, really. But yeah, if the best deal is Goblin Gaming in general, then that helps me. Joe, happy 4 years. Thank you very much, Joe. Nice to see you in. I hope you're well as well. Vijay saying, R.I.P. the peacock. Yes, the Spanish peacock. Dave saying, night all. Marcus is saying, we miss you, says Sean Connery. Yeah, what? Rest in peace, says Tiberius. Nicely said. Yeah, I read today, actually, and I didn't know this. This might be a fact everyone knows, but I didn't know it, that he turned down the part of Gandalf in Lord of the Rings. He said he'd read the book, he read the script, he just didn't really get the story. Maybe me and him have more in common than I thought. So he just didn't really get the story. He said, and I watched the film years later as well, and I didn't really get the film either. He said, but Sir Ian McKellen did an absolutely fantastic job in it. And it said that they offered him, I think it was something like £28 million to make the film, and 15% of the box office receipts. And it says by him not making the films, he lost out on £348 million payday. And it's like, wow, I'm sure he didn't need the money, but imagine like passing up on something like that. He would have made a fantastic Gandalf. But yeah, imagine passing up on 350 million. Ian says, so since this is 4 years, and congrats on that, what does the next 4 years hold? What will tabletop gaming look like? Will we still be in lockdown? We might still be in lockdown. Let's assume lockdown lifts, and let's assume that coronavirus gets back under control and we can start to game more like we used to game. I think the future for tabletop gaming is really, really healthy. I see more and more channels on YouTube who have a much bigger following are starting to kind of dabble into Warhammer and into tabletop gaming, like more creative channels, if you like using it as a like another avenue. You hear about it more. It's becoming more kind of, I say in inverted commas, socially acceptable. It's in the same way kind of video games were for nerds in people's basements, and then became much more mainstream. In the same way, comic books and kind of Batman and Captain America and all that kind of stuff were for nerds, and how geek culture is becoming more acceptable. In the same way, D&D is becoming more acceptable now and is much more higher profile. I think tabletop gaming, board gaming, I think is leading the way, and board gaming is certainly having the resurgence now. But I think tabletop gaming from a wargaming or miniatures perspective, I think, isn't a million miles behind it. And I feel quite blessed, I think, that I feel like I'm starting out on a journey, like doing this full time on YouTube at a time when we are just about to start to hit the upward trend, I think. And that's quite exciting, getting in on the ground floor. I can imagine it's what it was like for people that got into kind of doing YouTube with video games before that took off. And I think that there could be a really healthy sort of like a really healthy community that springs up around tabletop gaming in general. And when I say healthy, I mean much bigger and much more kind of accepting. So yeah, I assuming that the world doesn't kind of make us never see each other again, I think things are looking good. And with that, we'll bring in more companies, which will bring in more competitive pricing amongst kind of companies. We'll bring in more creativity. You're seeing a lot of like video game sort of companies looking at it now as well as another avenue. Like the guy that owns Riot Games, he's a massive 40k player. He plays at the LVO tournaments, and he's a huge tabletop game player. We also see who is it? We've got like the new company, the guy that used to be the creative director for Blizzard. is starting his own tabletop game company. He said that he grew up playing Warhammer and Dungeons and Dragons, and creating World of Warcraft was his way of trying to create a digital version of those universes. So yeah, I think it's really gonna climb from there. Where are we at? Everyone's saying welcome aboard, Connor. Thank you very much for welcoming him in. And hello as well to where was the other one as well? We roll dice. Thank you very much as well. Ian says, that's what Ian was just saying. VJ said, I think I'll need to review Myth and Goal when it comes out, and you can use Blood Bowl minis or any fantasy football. 100%, mate. I'll be chatting to James about that when he can talk about it more. Tiberius says, Lord of the Rings SPG is just Warhammer Historical Old West reskinned. I didn't know that, mate. I find it a game that feels trapped between two worlds. It doesn't know whether it wants to be a skirmish game or it wants to be a mass battle game, and I feel like it's kind of trapped between the two. My own personal taste, loads of people think it's the best game GW ever made. But yeah, that's just my feel. VGC Myth and Goal is James Hewitt, not that one. New football game. Will sit between Blitz Bowl and Blood Bowl and have a solo mode. That was the bit that really interested me. James DW, hello mate. It says, happy 4 years. If you were stuck alone on a desert island with one game with all components, which game would it be? It'd have to be a solo game. Something I could play on my own. What would it be? Something I would... Do you know what it is? I'll be perfectly honest. If I had all of my components and painting and all that kind of stuff, I'd probably love some kind of Warhammer minis or something like that. I could sit and paint. But if it was a game, something I could play, what would it be? It might potentially be Walking Dead. I think it's a game you can obviously play solo. So I'm thinking of something I can play solo. Because I actually really love Pandemic Legacy, but then it would run out. I wouldn't be able to play it continuously. I'd get to the end of the first season and then that would be it. I wouldn't have anything more. So I do love that. Core Space could be in there for running. I really like Core Space as well from a solo perspective. Anything else? No, we'll stick with them for now. I think we'll stick with them. Carl says, thanks for your input. You are welcome, mate. Jeff says, one of the reasons I enjoy your channel is your honesty on your opinion of games. It's refreshing. I guess from my perspective, mate, like I'm just a gamer. Like I'm just a hobbyist. I'm somebody that's I might sit in front of a camera and talk about stuff, but I've got opinions the same way everybody else has opinions. And I don't necessarily think that there are bad games. There are just games that suit certain people. So I'll tend to try and weigh up pros and cons of stuff. But if a game is just not for me, then that's not necessarily very interesting for you. If a game is bad because it's a bad game, then I would still review that and I would still be honest and tell you that. But I think reviewing a game that just really isn't my kind of taste probably wouldn't help anybody. It wouldn't help the game. It wouldn't help people make decisions. So yeah, if a game is bad because it's bad, I'll tell you that. But if a game is just not, and if a game is good, if it's something I really like, I'll still tell you the bits that I'm not. Like I actually really love Code 1. I love Infinity Code 1. I still think the rule book is unnecessarily heavy and laid out badly. But if you can get your head around them rules, it's a great game. It's a really, really good game. Marcus says, okay. Where was that one? Where's it just gone? I know you brought it up that you're not really a Tolkien fan, but is there a fun fact in the 80s and 90s The Hobbit was on the required reading list for college students? Was it really, mate? I didn't know that one. In the US. Wow. Peter says, who knows how many dances the next 4 years hold? Wow. Yeah, who knows? 10,000 subscribers is a big one for me personally. And that's because I never in my wildest dreams thought I would ever get anywhere near 10,000. I feel like anything after 10,000 is just, it's a consequence of getting to a size where people are aware of the channel. It grows because I'm making more content and more people watch it, and it grows kind of naturally. But growing it from zero, from no videos, no subscribers, to 10,000 subscribers, to me personally, is just it's beyond my wildest dreams of what I could imagine. So for me, that's just like a nice little kind of a little milestone that I want to get to, really. And I'm not a million miles away. It's weird because it feels like, short of me just quitting and not making any more videos, it's in my reach. I'd love to get there by the end of this year. I think it's going to be a real miracle if I do. But if I don't, it's going to be kind of like by February, March next year or something like that. And that's not a million miles away. So that to me is just a huge personal achievement, really. It doesn't mean anything to anybody else. It doesn't make me any more money. It doesn't mean I suddenly kind of start like doubling my salary kind of thing or anything like that. It's just a nice little personal achievement to say it to me. Like I've got 10,000 subscribers. That's quite nice. William says, I think that the enforced isolation, when lifted, is going to be a spur for face-to-face gaming. Online gaming is a relief, but it's beef jerky compared to face-to-face steak. I think it's going to be a funny one, mate. I think people obviously do want to get back. I'm craving kind of getting out and playing games, but I do wonder whether people will be a bit more wary about sort of, or people almost like scaring themselves to stay at home. I do wonder how long it'll be before we start to get back to those kind of levels. Vijay saying, yeah, channels like Jazza getting in on Wargame. He's specifically, mate, one of the ones I was thinking of, mate. And Mini Payton has certainly been an interesting development. Carl says, Geordie's don't dance. You've not seen me dance, mate, that's why. Mark says, I need to sleep. Early rise tomorrow. Congrats. Thank you. Yeah, I hope to meet up again in person soon. Yes, definitely, mate. I always like meeting up with the Mantic Open days and stuff like that, mate. And I'm sure we'll get together again at some point in the future. Christian says, if there isn't a full rendition of Flashdance when Andy hits 10k, I might have to unsubscribe. I might have to do something special for 10,000 subscribers. I might have to give that one some thought. Tony says, Marcus, and that's why to this day students eat 2 breakfasts. William says, Metzen is one to watch. Will be interesting to see if he knocks it out of the park or is just another game but with a famous personality behind it. From what I read with the interview with him, mate, is essentially the video game industry became too stressful. It was too big and too much money involved and too much pressure, and he had to step away from the stuff that he enjoyed doing, and he said he's had a bit of time away. He's kind of spent time with the family, and now he's itching to get be creative again. And he said this feels like him and his friend creating tabletop games. Feels like kind of like 2 musicians like making a garage band rather than having like a rock star touring the world kind of thing. And he said he's absolutely loving. He basically works. I think he works early in the morning till kind of mid-afternoon, and then spends the rest of the day with the family. And that he feels that he's got the kind of the creativity and the balance right. So it's going to be interesting. Tony says, if you could have one special guest at a weekender, who would it be? Oh, who would it be? A special guest at a weekender. Who would I really love to kind of spend some time with? Not necessarily kind of like gaming wise or anything like that. Who would it be? I've been quite fortunate to meet a few kind of like the bigger gaming names and stuff like that and do interviews. People like Alessio and people like James Hewitt and Steve Jackson. I've met some of those people over the years and stuff actually, and it's been quite nice to actually like sit and chat. Like I met Alessio at River Horse, and he kind of took me for lunch at Burger King. So sitting in Burger King with Alessio, like over a chicken sandwich, kind of talking about tabletop gaming was quite surreal. Like for me personally, I don't know who it would be. Mila Kunis. Not for anything to do with gaming, I just think she's hot. Vijay saying, yeah, interview with James when the Myth and Goal Kickstarter goes live would be awesome. Yeah, Peter shouting Dreadfleet. Yoakum, time to sleep. We'll pick up my walk ride catacombs tomorrow. Good night, folks. Thanks for the chat. Thanks very much for coming in, Yoakum, and thank you again for your support as well, mate. Tony says he's just kidding. When he was a student, he got called a hobbit as he always had 2 breakfasts. Scott says, so the big question, are you backing the new core space Kickstarter? No, mate, I'm not. And the reason I'm not backing it is because these days I just don't have the money to kind of to throw at Kickstarters and stuff that I won't see for like a year or something. For me personally, Joe, thank you very much for that. That was massively kind. Thank you. for me these days, I've got to be really selective. The days of having like a proper good salary are long gone, and the money that I have now, I tend to focus on stuff I can buy and make content with quite quickly, or it needs to be a kind of like something I can almost either like I bought myself a treat the other day. So this is the only thing I've bought for myself, and I bought myself this, which is the Lady Justice Malifaux Crew. I bought Malifaux 3rd edition rulebook because I love the lore of Malifaux, and I wanted the rules are free online. I've already downloaded them and printed them off, but I wanted to read the kind of the background stories and the lore and stuff. And I also treated myself to the Malifaux Halloween limited edition Witches and Wars box. So those were like a little treat for myself, basically, for my own hobby. I'll probably do some Malifaux content in the future, but initially they're just for me to kind of to do something that's not relying upon making videos on it. And every now and again, like it's nice to do something like that. But generally, when it comes to Kickstarters, I'm a bit wary about recommending Kickstarters because I'm not always a big fan of why things are being kickstarted. I'm not always a big fan of hanging around waiting for product to come out, especially when it comes to retail and it's cheaper. So when you see me talking about a Kickstarter, it's something I either really believe in the company, or I believe in the reason behind it, or it's something that I would recommend. And I would recommend a core space Kickstarter. I think Colin does a fantastic job of it. I think the original core space is fantastic value. But I think the problem for me personally is I'm better off waiting until that goes to retail. All of the extra content and stuff probably won't get played with by me personally because I play so many different games. I'm better off probably just picking up the core box when it goes to retail later on. So yeah, that's the reason that I won't back it. But it's not because I don't believe in the game or anything like that, or I don't believe in battle systems as a company. It's just purely I just don't have the spare cash these days to put into something that I won't see for kind of 12, 18 months. VJ says, wow, they went together fast. One Wood Elf Blitzball team built. Yes. Corvus is off as well. Good night, Corvus. VJ says, my first time using the Tamiya ultra thin glue with a brush. Don't think I'd be going back to Citadel plastic. Yeah, I use, if I can reach it, I just use this stuff with the needle on. And I love it, the contactor stuff, the Revel contactor. I've always used it, and I'm so used to just being able to kind of control the nozzle now. CXG, hello there, says, congrats on 4 years on YouTube. Thank you very much. I've been watching your videos from the shadows ever since your DIY gaming table. Keep doing what you do. You're a real credit to our community. Thank you very much, CXG. That's really, really kind of you to say so. Type B says he's craving going to new Warhammer branch in Edinburgh. It's massive by any estimation, but the old place was tiny. Oh, I tell you what, Type B, I can't wait until things get to a point where I can start a shop. I love Edinburgh. Like for a bit of a weekend away, I'd quite happily come to Edinburgh for the weekend with my missus and the little one, and come and meet you for a bit of a chat, mate, and a coffee and maybe even a game. So yeah, we'll have to get that at some point. Marcus is saying, who else watched season 2 premiere of Mandalorian? I did, mate, and I loved it. Rick Priestley, Tiberius is saying he would like to have. Could mix it up by talking about being baldy beardies. Rick or Jervis. Video says, yeah, Mila. Yeah, you wouldn't kick her out. Tim Kelly off the bed says, well done. I thank you very much, mate. Keep being you. Cheers, mate. That's a really nice thing to say. Thank you. VJ says, looks like Arnold isn't here this week. You get to keep your name on the screen this week, eh? Lord Maiden says, actually, where is Arnold? He's missed a few. Scott says, I used to love Malifaux. I know I'm not going to look at Malifaux again now. God damn you. I used to love Malifaux as well, mate. I played a lot in the first edition. I kind of dropped out in edition, like in the second edition. But the minis are just, I've always loved the universe. I've always loved the minis. I've built the minis up from the box. Interestingly, everybody complains about how awkward these things are to build. But these ones that come in this limited box, are they upside down or the right way around? These ones that come in this limited edition box, these ones come pre-built. Let me just, if I can get that. Yeah, these ones come pre-built. So I wish all Malifaux minis come pre-built because they're sort of single pores. I wish they all come pre-built. VG says needle nose applicator always gets clogged. And the brush. The thing with the needle nose applicator things is you just have to have them, just tip them up. It almost like melts itself, mate. As long as you keep putting the cap back on, I tend to find they're kind. Marcus says it's been mentioned a few times. How is that gaming table? I don't have it anymore, mate, if I'm honest. I built a gaming table. I used to use it when I was in the garage. When everything came back inside here, I built a completely different table, which is essentially this one that I've got here, because it's more user friendly for actually like for videoing on, for streaming from, for playing on, and I've got a folding 6x4 gaming table as well. So I got rid of the wooden one. It basically just took up too much space when it wasn't really getting used. VG says I'm looking forward to going to the UK or the US for cons and games with streamers again, but ain't happening anytime soon. Yeah, Tiberi's up for a meet up. Nice one, mate. Be good to catch up, mate. And Lord Maiden saying they're very new models for Malifaux, so I hope the feedback helps as they don't look bad at all. It's the first one I've bought of the like the limited edition set, and I don't know if any of the other ones were pre-built as well. I noticed when I ordered them, it said on the website, because it actually says on the box here, it says on the bottom pre-assembled. So yeah, but nice minis. Carl says flat earth conspirators have believers all around the globe. CXG said I've always used Citadel glue as Warhammer was what got me into the hobby. Recently bought some Tamiya glue and it's great stuff, plus it seems to last forever. Yeah, I did the same. I bought all the Citadel bits and pieces when I first started, because I still prefer Citadel paints, because one, I find that they're easy to get. They're easy to, like, my local store stocks them and stuff. They're easy to get at, and I'm just used to kind of using them, really. So, and then basically as one runs out, I kind of replace it with that colour. So I'm kind of stuck in my ways a little bit of using the Citadel paints, but I've got no complaints with them. Scott says he's played second edition if he remembers. Second edition was when what were they called? Avatars came in, and I could never get my head around the Avatar stuff. VG says, by the way, it's free this weekend for Blitzball game on Tabletop Simulator if you're free. I should be free, mate, because we're not allowed to go anywhere now. So I'm sure folks know that we've got another lockdown coming in the UK, which reminds me, actually, I'd like to do something to kind of give back to the community during this lockdown. So if you can think of anything that I could do to kind of to support and help and encourage and motivate the community at a time when it's a bit shit again, let's be fair. Let me know if there's anything that you think would help. I've been thinking about kind of doing extra streams. I've been thinking about doing like a charity stream or something like that around mental health and stuff. I'm trying to think of like different things to do, something to maybe try and focus the community on, something to try just to try and give people like almost something to take their mind off all the crap that's going on at the minute. So if you can think of anything, please message me, private message me, tell me on Facebook, tell me in the Discord, whatever it is. Drop a comment in this video, whatever it is. It would be good to try and do something to try and pull people together a little bit. Lobin says, I think none were pre-assembled before except the one-piece metal models of the first edition. Even the first edition one, mate, the metal ones I had weren't pre-built either. Peter says, paint my backlog. Scott's in a fantasy fight. We'll definitely have another fight in fantasy this month, mate. I promise that one. VG saying that Tamiya's 40mm. Huge. Same price as 20mm. What's in this one? Let's have a look. It's 25 grams in these ones. Lord Maiden says, Malifaux avatars were first edition. They were reworked a bit in second edition, but they went completely before fully utilised again. Are you sure they were in first edition, mate? Because I remember buying the 1.5 rule book when it came out, and avatars weren't in then. I thought avatars came in second edition. That was when they came in, I thought. Stu says, no lockdown in his part of Scotland. Yeah. We've been, like, in the northeast, we've been under quite sort of like restrictions for quite some time now about not being able to see people from other households and stuff like that, and I couldn't go to the pub like with a mate or something like that. We haven't been able to do that for quite some time now. So this lockdown that's come along now, whilst it technically doesn't really change a lot for where we are now, it kills things like
like going shopping. Like I can't go out and just, like, for example, I've just started to recently go, like, my local Costa Coffee has opened up the inside again, rather than just doing drive-throughs. And I've been going in the morning. I've been dropping my little one off at nursery. I've been going to Costa, taking my laptop and doing some work and having a cup of coffee just to actually get out of the house and just to kind of see something different, like to get out and do something. And unfortunately, now they have to close again, and I can't do that anymore. So it's that kind of stuff, really. Scott said a 24-hour painting live stream would join in with. I thought about doing like a 24-hour live stream. I just wondered whether I could motivate myself for 24 hours, because there will be times in that 24 hours I'll just be on my own. And if that's like the kind of like the low points, the middle of the night and stuff like that, I do wonder whether I can kind of keep going, like doing it on my own kind of thing as well. VG says, could do a charity stream with a small Blitzball tournament on Tabletop Simulator. Oh, that could be interesting, actually. Christian said a lockdown charity chat show with industry Oh, I quite like that, mate. I quite like that. I wonder if we can cajole a few people into that one. CXG says, I'm with you on the Citadel paints too. Definitely stuck in my ways with them. I've just made the mammoth tax of switching my Citadel paints to Jotter bottles. I'd thought about doing that a while ago, but I found a way to keep them clean, so I've not bothered anymore now. Peter says a live streaming wargaming quiz. The problem is, mate, how do I trust that you're getting the answers right? I'll have to find a way to kind of to test you, I think, on that one. Tybee says on paint ranges is that even if there's better available, it doesn't matter if you're used to another and can get the best out of them. Like me and the coat d'arms, I know what I'm doing with them. Yeah, I'm just so used to. I know how much to thin Citadel paints down. I know they're easy to replace quickly when I need to get my hands on them. I'm just used to them now, mate. Lord Maiden says, yeah, the cards for the avatars were old mini book style cards, and that was first edition. Second edition was the normal size cards, and third was tarots. I was pretty sure I got out when second edition came along, and I don't remember avatars being in first edition, but maybe it was just so long ago I'm remembering wrong. Scott saying, paint your entire Warcry catacomb set in 24 hours. I've been thinking about doing one of those kind of 24-hour painting challenges or something like that, but making a video of it rather than like a full-on live stream. But yeah, I might give that some thought. What I'm tempted, and what I might do is maybe even like if I did like a 24-hour sort of like a 24-hour painting challenge, like whether it's one of these new combat patrol boxes or something like that, like paint it in 24 hours. And then maybe like raffle it off for charity or something like that. Maybe sell raffle tickets and raffle it off or something like that. Maybe. Peter says, simple. You ask the questions, we write down the answers. Make a picture before you tell us the answer, and we correct us. Ian says, hell, if you do a 24-hour stream on a weekend, that seems like a challenge we could get in on, like a virtual painting lock-in. Do you know? I wonder if we. Be interesting to kind of try and do something with getting guests on, whether it's you folks that like kind of like chat normally, or whether it's like industry folks or whatever. Do some kind of something like that. VG saying the agents guys are keen to chat on a live stream, so if you do decide to do a chat style thing, count them in. Yes, mate, I need to get in touch with them about that. Krabby says you can create a Kahoot for a quiz. Just give everyone the code when you want to start. You can, mate, but I think it's quite expensive, isn't it? I think it's quite expensive to pay for, I think, but I'll need to look into that one. Lord Maiden saying it's okay. I think I got muddy with 10 Thunder stuff came out in 1.5. Yeah, I see. I thought 10 Thunders was later as well, so maybe I'm just remembering it wrong. Scott says good thing with the 24 live stream is your followers could join at all hours. I did think that I'll reach a few different like time zones and stuff. I had considered that bit. Mark says as long as the Citadel paints don't change their paint colours again, I'll probably keep using them. But they change it again, I will end up not painting for a year just because I got pissed. I can't see them changing the full range again. They just keep adding to it, mate, to be honest. Anyway, how are we doing for time? Wow, 11:30. It's been a long one tonight, folks. Let me just get a quick drink. Oh, cold tea. CXG, I'll be up for trying to join the full 24 hours. Depends if I have work or not. Got loads of painting to be catching up on. I'll have to give it some thought and see how best to manage that one, because it'd be quite interesting to try and do that. Anyway, what's this one? Lord Maiden says, I'll speak to you in the Patreon Discord about Malifaux. I'm happy to help, as I never truly left Malifaux. Yeah, I'm keen to kind of to get back playing, mate, really, even if it's just pushing a few things around the table myself. Right, folks, I'm going to call that a night now. That went on for a bit longer than I planned, really. But it's been really good kind of having a chat and a catch up tonight. Thank you, every single one of you, for coming in tonight. I appreciate the topic might not be relevant for everybody, and it's a little bit self-indulgent to like kind of, this is my 4-year anniversary, like, thanks very much kind of thing. But thank you so much, folks, for coming in. Thank you to everybody that's kind of watched my videos and supports me. Thanks to a huge thanks to all of my Patreons, whether you're a Patreon now, whether you've been a Patreon in the past, whether you're going to be a Patreon in the future as well. Thank you so much. It really is your support and your help that's given me a regular income every month, that's enabled me to take the plunge and make this my full-time job. Like, yes, I'm not quite making enough yet to like say that it's been a huge success, but I'm so close. I'm so close to the point of where I can just say, right, that's it. I can just kind of concentrate now. So I apologize if I push the Patreon stuff and I talk about that. But it's me. It's my sales pitch, basically, trying to sell myself to you lot. So please do check out the Patreon. It's what makes this all possible. And without that, I couldn't continue to do this. I'd have to go quit all this, go back and get another job, and probably not have the time to continue to do the stuff that I do. So thank you so much to every single one of you. Thank you to everyone that donates on the live streams, everyone that buys t-shirts, everyone that shops at Goblin Gaming or clicks on the Amazon link or takes out a free subscription to Audible, all those kind of things. Thank you so much. But thank you to you as a community for making this a fantastic 4-year journey and just the start of it. So thanks a lot, folks, and I will see you on Wednesdays at Paint and Stream. Thanks for watching my video. I hope that you really enjoyed it. And if you did, why not consider clicking on the suggested video below to see more of the work that I've done. If you'd like to support the long-term sustainability of this channel, why not consider checking out my Patreon, where you can pledge and support from as little as $2 a month, and there is lots of different tiers and bonuses which will give you access to a private Discord server. It will give you free t-shirts, free mugs, a podcast every month, and a number of other things, including getting your name at the end of every video, like these awesome folks who already support me now.